Hello, it's AliMECH. 2023 was an amazing year. We could make 54 how-to videos with good camera angle and short explanation. You guys liked all the videos and they have pretty good views. Because we have new subscribers, I wanted to make a video about all the videos of 2023 for those of you who are new here and some of you missed some videos. I made a giveaway for giving something back to you for supporting me all these years. There will be 3 numbers appearing in the videos. DM me the numbers to my Facebook page or Instagram account to enter your name to the 3 spot of the giveaway. I wish you all the best and Happy New Year and see you in 2024. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna be detailing this faded hood to this mirror finish in few easy steps, which it will be sanding, polishing, and waxing. The first question we should ask, why that happened to the hood paint, even though the car not that old. There are few reasons to fade the hood paint like this. The car doesn't have underhood isolator, so all the heat from the engine hits the hood. If your car doesn't have underhood isolator, consider buying one, not only protecting your hood paint, but it will silence some of engine sound as well. So here are the products we're gonna need: masking tape, some fine sandpaper, rubbing compound, polishing compound, and a wax to protect the paint. So we're gonna start with wet sanding with 3000 grit sandpaper to remove that oxidized layer on the paint. And I'm gonna be using sanding pad so I can have even sanding without creating hot spot. When you're doing wet sanding, don't use circular motion. Use linear motion instead, because after that you can polish linear line easier than circular motion. Alright, we just removed that oxidized layer and the water makes it shiny. After the water gets dry, it will get hazy again. Next, I'm gonna use masking tape to mask the fenders and the windshield plastic trim. Next, I'm gonna put 5 drops of rubbing compound and work on the half of the hood. And I will do 4 passes, 2 horizontally and 2 vertically. You can do this procedure by hand as well, but it will take you some more time. Alright, after 4 passes, let's wipe the residue and check the result. It came out so good. Now we can do the other side as well with the same technique. 4 passes, 2 horizontally and 2 vertically. Alright guys, here is the result after using rubbing compound and a polishing compound. Next we have to wax it and protect it from contaminant. And we have to hurry because it's about to rain. Applying wax is very easy. Just use the applicator pad that comes with the wax and apply it in a circular motion with an even layer just like this and let it dry. After it's dry, wipe off with a microfiber towel just like this. With using some of these products and simple techniques, we just turn this faded paint to this mirror finish. And you can apply this technique on any panel on your car, whether if it's the hood, roof or trunk. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna be doing radiator coolant complete flush and fill it up with new coolant, whether if you have contaminated coolant or something like this in the reservoir. So this car been sitting over the night and the engine completely cold to touch and the cooling system not hot or pressurized, so we can safely open the reservoir cap. So why this happened? This car doesn't have any engine problem or head gasket problem. Some of modern cars nowadays use HOAT, hybrid organic acid technology, or OAT, organic acid technology. HOAT and OAT coolants have different chemical composition. They are not designed to be mixed together. Mixing these 2 types of coolant can cause information, sludge or gel-like substance that can clog radiator, heater core, or other cooling system components. This can result in poor cooling flow, reduced heat transfer, and ultimately engine overheating. So what are the difference between HOAT and OAT coolants? So HOAT is orange and OAT is purple. HOAT rated for 5 years and 100,000 miles. While the OAT rated for 10 years and 150,000 miles, and OAT always expensive than HOAT. So this car's radiator system being mixed with OAT and HOAT and resulted that varnish and gel-like substance. In order to do a complete flush in an easy way, we need to remove the lowest radiator hose to drain that coolant or use the draining plug, which I will be using today. For cleaning, I will be using Rapinoe's Radiator Professional Cleaner. We need to drain the coolant and then fill it up with water or distilled water, and then pour the cleaner in and let the engine run for 10 to 15 minutes, and drain the water again and flush a few times till the water gets clean. And the last thing, we need 2 gallons of OAT radiator coolant. Before doing anything, I will be covering engine's computer because we will be working with water and I don't want this part to get wet, so I'm just gonna put a plastic bag on it. Alright, we are ready for draining the radiator coolant. You either have to remove the lower radiator hose or the drain plug. Alright, drain pan under the car. Now we're gonna open the drain plug. Make sure to open it all the way down to help with the coolant flow. And keeping the radiator reservoir cap open helps with the coolant flow a lot. We're gonna have to wait till all the coolant being drained. After it stops, I'm gonna use compressed air to push the remaining coolant out. Because I didn't remove the lower hose, it will need some help to push the remaining coolant out. But if you don't have access to a compressed air or a blower, remove the lower hose. I will be using spill-proof radiator coolant filling funnel kit. It comes with multiple different caps for a variety of cars. What is good about it, you can pour a good amount of coolant and it will give you a higher point to help escaping bubbles. And when you're done, you can seal the funnel and then lift the funnel up with the remaining coolant. So for this Jeep, spacer D looks perfect, and then screw the cap back on and then the funnel. Next, closing lower radiator drain plug for doing cleaning and flushing procedure. I will pour Ravinol's Radiator Professional Cleaner first and then fill the rest with distilled water. You can use tap water too, and use distilled water only at the last flush, because we will be doing multiple flushes till it gets super clean. So now the radiator being filled with cleaner and then distilled water. With the drain cap closed, now we can turn on the engine. And we're gonna let it run for 15 minutes. So we will let the engine run for 15 minutes. And I'm sure it will reach idling temperature and the thermostat valve will open and recirculate that distilled water and the cleaner through the entire system. And the best thing you can do now, turn on the heater with full fan speed and highest temperature to fully open that valve, so the cleaner will clean the heater core as well. After the engine been running for a while, it will reach idling temperature. And when the thermostat valve opens, it allows to recirculate the water and the cleaner. And now it's been after 15 minutes and the engine been running with the cleaner just like it mentions on the bottle. Now we're gonna turn the engine off. You can wait till the engine gets cold if you're removing the lower radiator hose so you don't burn your hands. But since the reservoir cap is open and the coolant not pressurized, I will open the drain plug while the engine is still hot and the thermostat valve is open. That way it will drain the cylinder block and the heater core fluid as well. So with every draining, I took a sample to show you guys after how many flushes the water got clear. Depending on your car's radiator system, how contaminated they are, you're gonna have to do the same procedure, fill the water again and run the engine for 10 to 15 minutes and drain the water till it gets clear. So after 3 flushing procedure, the water got clear. And since the engine is hot and the thermostat valve is open, I will push the remaining water out with the compressed air. Let's open the cap and take out the funnel spacer and check the reservoir. With the help of the cleaner and multiple flushes, it completely cleaned the reservoir and the entire radiator cooling system. And here is the radiator reservoir before and after cleaning. No more gel-like substance. Next, we're gonna fill the radiator system with O80 coolant. And what is good about this funnel, you can pour a good amount of coolant and not worrying about spilling any coolant. After the second gallon, we need to start the engine, and it will help to recirculate the coolant and push all the bubbles out with the help of higher point of the funnel. I just poured both gallons of O80 coolant, and now I'm gonna remove the funnel and the cap to check the coolant level. It's important to check the engine at the idling temperature and the coolant at the right level, and no bubble comes out anymore. Then we can put the cap back on. So after draining the contaminant coolant and using cleaner, then flushing for 3 times, now we have clean cooling system. Here are the 2 gallons and both empty, and the cleaner did its job and the funnel was very useful. I will make sure to put some links in the video description box below. And here is how to do a complete flush if you have a contaminant system just like this. Hope you found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna see what is that milky texture in the oil catch can. So if you are new here, I previously installed oil catch can on both of my cars and they've been working great so far from catching oil vapor. In the detailed video I show how to assemble and install it on the engine. So as a weekly checkup, I removed the oil catch can and there is a milky oily texture. We know that when the oil mixes with water or radiator coolant, this will happen. So we have two possibilities. First, either the engine head gasket is blown and it allows the coolant to be mixed with the engine oil and the mixture vapor condensate in the oil catch can. If the coolant color also like this, the engine needs to be rebuilding, which it will be expensive. And the second scenario, it's normal, there's a condensation in the crankcase just like you find coming out the tailpipe. Evaporizers gets caught in the oil catch can, which is called the evaporized water condensate, forming an emulsion and gets like a milkshake texture. So if you check the radiator coolant and the coolant color isn't changed, it's pretty normal. You just have to clean the oil catch can with a carb cleaner and put it back. So if you had a situation like this and the oil catch can caught a milky oil texture, make sure to clean the strainer plate as well so the engine's PCV doesn't suction into the combustion chamber. So after cleaning everything, I'm gonna put everything back. And if you wanna know if the engine is fine after seeing that milky oil texture in the oil catch can, check the engine oil. If it's normal color and not milky texture, the engine is fine, it was just the humidity and condensated in the oil catch can. I also wanted to show you the inside of the engine and it looks fine and no milky texture. So it was pretty normal and humidity thing. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna be replacing front brake pad on this 2019 Toyota Camry, and we also gonna discuss uneven pad wearing problem and how to fix it. Before doing anything, make sure the wheels call to touch and the car on a flat level and parking brake is engaged. Let's block the rear wheels and loosen the lug nuts while the front wheel on the ground. You can use your car's jack, but make sure the car on a flat surface to prevent slipping the jack, and place the wheel under the car for extra safety. But I will be using garage jack and jack stand. You don't need to have all these tools, I'm just doing that to show you better angles with the camera. So with the wheel being removed and placed under the car for extra safety, now we can safely work on the car. And here is the things we're gonna need. A set of front brake pad, of course. Make sure to get the original one so you don't have squeaking sound or brake failure when it heats up. We also gonna need a silicone grease. It's a high temperature grease and it won't damage rubber boots like conventional grease, brake cleaner or a carb cleaner, and anti-seize, which I will get to all that in details later. For the tools we gonna need a 40mm and a flat screwdriver, and no caliper piston tool needed, and I will show you how to push the caliper piston back for the new pads without a special tool. First thing we're gonna do, steer the wheel to the side we are working on so we can access the 40mm bolt easily. With the flat screwdriver, we're gonna push the piston back before unbolting anything. You just have to put it between the rotor vents and pull it like this. This method is very easy, you don't need any special tool for doing that. It will free the caliper and it will give the extra space for the new pad. Next, let's grab the 40mm and undo the lower bolt. Sometimes the pin will spin, so you're gonna have to hold it with a 90mm and then remove the bolt. After removing the 40mm bolt, now we can lift the brake caliper. Here is the piston side brake pad. I can see uneven wear on it. Upper part is thinner than the lower part, but it's not that much. Just by looking at them, you will know this is the piston side brake pad and this is the front side. We're gonna have to remove these plates and put them on the new ones. The uneven pad wear is pretty obvious, and the only reason this happened, the guide pins are not moving freely, or sometimes one of them is stuck. And that's why we need silicone grease for that. By putting the new and the old brake pad back to back, you can make sure that you have the same pad. I'm gonna quickly clean these backing plates with brake cleaner and then put them back on the new pads. For the backing plates, black one goes first and then the other one, and the spring will be on top of the pad. You're gonna have to do the same thing for the other side as well, and these springs will be on top of the pads. Next, we're gonna have to fix uneven pad wearing problem. So for that, we're gonna have to clean these guide pins and then use silicone grease again. You basically have to wipe these guide pins from old grease and then put new silicone grease again. These guide pins has to be cleaned and silicone greased every time you change the brake pads. Alright, let's lift the caliper and do the same thing for the lower side. Cleaning and then applying silicone grease again. If you use conventional grease,
not only it will thins out and comes out from the guide pins holes from the heat, but it will also damage the rubber boots and make them bigger. And when there is no rubber boots protection, water and dirt gets inside the guide pins and rust them. Most of the time you will need new guide pins or sometimes new caliper. Next I will be using anti-seize for the brake pad contact places with the caliper slider groove. It will help easy sliding the pads, and it's one of the ways to prevent from having an even pad wearing problem. Let's apply anti-seize for the other pad as well and then install them. You just need to put the pads in a slider groove with the metal part facing you and this spring on top. As you saw it doesn't need any force, and now we can lower the caliper. If we didn't push the piston back before, the caliper wouldn't come down like this, because now the pads are new and they are thicker than the old ones. That's why you need to push the piston back before installing new pads. And the best time to push the piston back before undoing any bolt, just like I did before without using any special tool. Now we can put the 40mm bolt back and then tighten it down. You will need to hold the guide pin with 90mm and then tighten it down. Keep in mind that's the only bolt we removed for replacing brake pads, apart from wheel nuts. Next let's straighten the steering wheel, and I like to clean the rotor from any grease from my hand while working on the brake pads, and then I'll put the wheel back. One last thing to pay attention, it's important to hand screw the lug nuts to prevent from cross threading. So I did the same procedure for the front passenger side as well. And now we are done with replacing driver side and passenger side brake pads, but there is one more thing we have to do. So after jacking up the car and removing the jack stands and torque the lug nuts to the factory spec, it's important to brake few times to push the brake piston forward till there is no gap, because we push the caliper piston back for the new pad and easy caliper lowering. First few brakes, you'll feel the brake pedal goes down to the bottom, and then no more going back to the bottom, then you'll know you are done. And here are the products I used for replacing brake pad and fixing an even pad wearing problem. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna talk about 3D printing and how useful they are in a car industry and for DIYers just like us. So I had a problem with my toolbox handle. Every time I wanted to change the shaft towel roll, I had to remove 2 screws and then put the new roll in it and then screw it back again. So I designed my own quick release shaft towel holder on SketchUp for my toolbox. So I designed it in 2 pieces and I did these cutouts to lower the material usage and keeping the strings at the same time. It's a bit different video, but I wanted to show my knowledge about that side since I've been asked about that in previous videos. So after 4 hours it's all done, and we need to remove these supports first and then it's usable. Alright, we have 2 3D printed holder now. Next I'm gonna remove the shaft towel here and never do that again. I'm gonna be using self-tapping screw for installing 3D printed holders. 2 screws for each side. So I did the same for the other side, measuring and using 2 self-tapping screw, and we are done. And now you can swap the shaft towel that easy. Alright, next one is the door handle screw cover. This one is missing, or sometimes they are lost when we remove it. So I took the measurement of the other side and did the design, and then used resin printer for this piece. Resin printers are more accurate for small pieces like this because they have more resolutions, but you have to work with the gloves, and when you take it out of the printer you have to wash it with isopropyl alcohol and then cure it with a UV light, or you can put it under a sunlight for a few minutes like I do here to cure, and then it's safe for using. I had to paint it matte black to match the original one, and it snaps in just like this. And I had to print bunch of them in case of losing or breaking any in the future. Next one is about detailing, which most professional detailers do that, leaving your car's logo on the carpet or using their own logo, and it's very easy to make. So I 3D printed Toyota's logo with 4mm in thickness. After cleaning and vacuuming the trunk carpet, you're gonna have to spray some water and then brush it to one direction, and then put the logo on it and brush it to the opposite direction. You can use the same technique for leaving your logo on a carpet if you are thinking about detailing business in the future. I also 3D printed some other things on this channel before, but these 3 I mentioned were useful to share with you guys. More of 3D printing on my second channel. And this Batmobile animated series is what currently I'm working on right now. Video about that will be on my second channel. Let me know if you have any 3D printing ideas and you wanna see on this channel. Alright, hope you enjoyed this week's video and found it useful. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to clean throttle body on my 2017 Toyota Camry, which is electrical throttle body, and I will do the same on cable controlled throttle body as well, and then start the engine to see if you have any check engine light. So for the cleaner, I will be using CRC throttle body and intake cleaner. Never use any of these cleaners on throttle body. None of them are sensor safe cleaners. Only throttle body cleaner is recommended. But you can use mass airflow sensor cleaner for cleaning throttle body, but you cannot use throttle body cleaner for cleaning mass airflow sensor, so keep that in mind. I don't recommend using shaft towel for cleaning throttle body. Sometimes these small pieces fall into the throttle body. I always keep my used microfiber towels. It's been washed and cleaned, and I will be using for cleaning throttle body. Alright, let's start with Toyota Camry, which has electrical throttle body, and it's located here. So for that, we need to remove filter box and intake hose. So let's start with the wire harnesses here. I'm not expecting to have dirty throttle body for two reasons. First, I always change intake air filter on time, and second, I have oil catch can installed on the engine to catch all the oil vapor. So even if it's not that dirty, we're gonna clean it anyway. Alright, after removing intake hose, I'm not gonna bother removing other hoses, so I'm just gonna lock it here so we can work freely. Just like I expected, it's not that bad. Let's get CRC cleaner and put the straw on the nozzle for easy pointing. I'm just gonna spray on the butterfly door and then wipe it off with a microfiber towel. It's important to clean the outside first and then open it and clean the inside, which I will show you in a second. Next, we need to open the electrical throttle body and clean the inside. So for that, I will put the key on position and push the gas pedal. It will open the throttle body without turning on the engine. Because I work alone, and I will use my torque wrench to hold the gas pedal till I clean the throttle body, and it's secured very well with the seat, so it won't slip till I clean the throttle body. So I'm gonna spray some more cleaner on the door edge and then wipe it off with a microfiber towel. That's the important part, when the door closes and there is no carbon between the body and the door, to give accurate airflow. So I did another pass of cleaning just to make sure that I cleaned everything and there is no carbon between the door and the throttle body. Alright, we are done with cleaning. Now I'm gonna release the gas pedal and turn off the ignition. So with using CRC throttle body cleaner and wiping off with microfiber towel, that much dirt came out. Now we're gonna put everything back and start the engine to see if we have any check engine light. Make sure to tighten the intake hose clamp on the throttle body, otherwise you will get error code for that. This process is the reverse of how we remove the filter box. But for some cars you won't need to remove the filter box for cleaning throttle body. But because of the location of throttle body on Toyota Camry, we had to remove the filter box for cleaning throttle body. Alright, moment of truth. Let's start the engine and see if we have any check engine light. Even though I used a lot of cleaner, I'm sure the sensor got wet and we will have a check engine light. The check engine light didn't turn off after starting the engine. We had a hard starting due to that much cleaning in throttle body, but that is what exactly been designed for, and it will burn just like gasoline. So only first start will be like this after cleaning, and then it will get back to normal again. I'm gonna use my CG Solid OBD scanner for you guys to show you what error code you will get if you use a lot of cleaner. So the code is PO102 and it's mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow sensor didn't get wet because it's before throttle body. Just because of the amount of cleaner left in throttle body and late start, it made to throw that error code. So the mass airflow sensor didn't get accurate reading, or I disconnected the wire harness and pushed the gas pedal. One of these two reasons made that code came up. So now we know why it throwed that error code. We're gonna erase the code with OBD scanner. And if you don't have OBD scanner, you can disconnect the negative battery terminal or remove ECM, or on some cars ECU fuse to reset the car's computer. So after it burned all the cleaner from throttle body, you should have smooth acceleration. Even I used that much cleaner, which it doesn't need that much, but I wanted to see what happens when I start the engine, so you don't do that mistake. So when you get error code after cleaning throttle body, you either erase with OBD scanner or use ECM fuse. Next, I'm gonna do the same procedure on cable controlled throttle body. On cable control throttle body, you don't have risk to damage the throttle body. You can open it by hand and clean it easily. When you see steel cable on throttle body, it's cable control throttle body, not electrical. Gas pedal pulling that cable from inside and opening throttle body. You will see that on old cars nowadays. Almost all new cars nowadays are electrical throttle body. They have no cables. So I use the same technique, same cleaner, CRC throttle body and intake cleaner for cleaning this cable control throttle body. And here you will have no problem opening the throttle body by hand and wiping the inside. Next we're gonna put everything back and start the engine and see if we have any check engine light. So just like I did on a Camry, I used a little bit more cleaner for cleaning throttle body. So let's turn on the engine and see if we have any check engine light. It was an easy start and we have no check engine light. On Camry, throttle body is vertical, so all the cleaner gets inside the throttle body, causes late start and having check engine light. But on this one, not much cleaner gets inside the engine. Even if CRC throttle body cleaner gets inside the engine, it's sensor safe and it won't damage throttle body. Just don't use carb cleaner or a choke cleaner. You will damage throttle body easily. And here's the picture before cleaning how the door edge looks like and after cleaning how it looks like, even though it wasn't that bad. And all that goes to having oil catch can on the system for catching all the oil vapor. I will have some links for the tools I used plus related videos in the video description box below if you wanna check it out. So that's for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to clean carbon buildup on a piston head and intake valves without using any cleaner, and I will show you the before and after picture with using Endoscope camera. There are so many ways to clean carbon buildup on the piston head and intake valves with using different kind of cleaners with different applications. I did so many videos about them and I will put them in the video description box below and YouTube card if you wanna check it out. But this video is about cleaning without using any cleaners. So the answer for that is by installing oil catch can between PCV valve and intake manifold to filter that oil vapor from entering the engine. And once we stop the oil vapor from entering the engine, carbon won't build up on the intake valves and piston head. And as you're driving the car, it cleans the carbon buildup, especially if you are driving on a highway. I have a detailed video how I installed oil catch can on my 2017 Toyota Camry step by step. And you can apply the same principle on most cars. It's been about a year I have installed oil catch can on my car, so let's see how much carbon we have on the pistons and compare it to how it was before. Alright, I'm gonna enter cylinder number 1. Here's how it was before installing oil catch can, and here's how it looks now. You can see a significant change from heavy carbon buildup. And here is cylinder number 2. Same heavy carbon buildup before installing oil catch can, and here is how it looks now. And here are cylinder number 3. And the last, cylinder number 4. With every oil change, that much oil being collected from entering intake manifold and burn on the pistons to create carbon buildup. You just need to clean that much oil and put it back again. It's been a long time this car not been on a highway, only in the city, and even the spark plugs looks clean. But I have to give it a fast cleaning with ultrasonic cleaner and seafoam, and here's how it looks now comparing how it was before. And I would like to show you the 4 cylinders before installing oil catch can and after installing oil catch can pictures side by side so you can see the difference. This video also recommended by some of you, but I wanted to have enough data to show you the proof how it works and how much difference you will get after installing oil catch can. Tools and the products I use will be in the video description box below plus installing oil catch can video. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna be replacing engine support rod on my 2017 Toyota Camry. Almost all Camrys have this support to hold the engine from upper part. This one here perfectly fine, but few of my subscribers asked me how to replace it. So in today's video, I will remove it and show you what tools you will need as well. So this engine support over here is one of the 4 engine mounts. Toyota Camry has 3 other engine mounts to hold the engine from underneath. The right side mount will be under the support rod, and the second one will be the front engine mount, and the third one will be at the left side of the engine, which calls transmission mount as well. And here's the one we will be working on today. If this one is broken and you don't replace it as soon as possible, engine torque will break the front engine mount. And checking engine support mount is very easy. Look at the rubber part. If you see any crack on them, it's time to replace it.
There are 4 14mm bolts holding the support, these two holding the side bracket, this one bolted on the engine block, and this one bolted on the body. Alright, let's get a ratchet, extender, and 14mm socket. For the bolt on engine block, you can't use ratchet over there because of ABS control module pipes, so having different type of tools will make the job much easier without damaging anything. After removing these two bolts, you won't be able to remove the engine block bolt because it's too close to ABS control module, so we're gonna leave it on and remove the rod and the bracket together. So you will only need to swap this bolt and the bracket on the new engine support rod. Usually the engine support rod breaks here on the rubber and causes bumping sound and lag on the engine when accelerating due to not holding the engine on the right place. So just a reminder for the bolts, the short one goes here and these three are the same. Two goes here and this one goes to engine block. So I wanted to give these bolts a quick cleaning, rust free, before putting them back. So the easiest way I found, using ultrasonic cleaner with some engine degreaser and mix of water, and let it run for 10 minutes. While the ultrasonic cleaner cleaning the rust on the bolts, I'm gonna clean the rust on the engine. It's not necessary, but I like to put it back clean as always. Alright, the bolts are clean as new. I'm gonna take it out of ultrasonic cleaner and look how much rust being removed. A quick spray of WD-40 to remove that water and not let it rust in the future. Let's put the engine support mount back. For me it's the same one, but for you it will be a new one because yours already broken. You cannot put the engine block bolt back on later because of ABS module pipes, so we're gonna need to insert one of the long bolts with the bracket on and insert it in like this. Short bolt goes here, hand screw it first to avoid cross threading. If one of the engine mounts bad or broken, whether if it's the right, left or front one, and the bolt won't line up, and it always put the tension on it and it will be hard to remove the bolt or put the bolt back on. Then you have to know that you have one or more than one bad or broken engine mount. I'm gonna tighten all the bolts back with a ratchet and socket, and then I'm gonna use a torque wrench to torque all the bolts to 29 feet-pound of torque. And for this one, I cannot use a torque wrench over there, so I'm gonna use this bolt as a reference and tighten it back. It will be around 29. And that is it. These are all the tools I used for replacing Toyota Camry's engine support rod. Let me know in the comment section below if you have the same Camry model and you have broken this engine support rod. So that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna talk about oil change in two different cases. First, draining the oil with the oil cap and dipstick on. And the second oil change, I will be removing the oil cap and removing the dipstick and drain the oil. It will help the air enter the engine and gives better draining to the engine oil, in theory, but we'll see, and I will show you both ways with proof and recording the draining time, with the same engine oil weight, same engine temperature, and the same place where the car parked. Alright, the first oil change will be with closed cap and dipstick on. Let's go ahead and put them back. And I will also measure the engine temperature as well. We know engine oil viscosity changes with temperature, so the engine cover is about 74 degrees Celsius and the engine oil pan, which is the important one, 69 Celsius. Alright, let's do the first oil change. Drain pan under the car. Let's open the drain bolt and start the timer. I'm gonna let it drain in real time till 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna speed it up to 3 times of actual speed, and freeze the frame when the oil thins out in one spot and time it. But at the end of the video, I will leave the whole draining procedure in actual time, with and without cap side by side. So stick around till end of the video to see that in actual time. So after the oil drains and thins out, and we're gonna catch it in one spot, 54 seconds with the cap and dipstick on. Okay, this is the next oil change. We're gonna remove the oil cap and the dipstick and drain the oil. Keep in mind the engine about the same temperature, and I use the same grade oil and the car at the same level. So just like I did with the first draining, I'm gonna let it drain till 10 seconds in actual time, and then I'm gonna speed it up till 3 times of actual speed, and freeze the frame in one spot and time it. So the reason I did this video, I was getting comments sometimes when I didn't open the oil cap and drain the engine oil or transmission oil. So in this video we will see the difference with proof, and both have good and bad points. So with the engine oil cap open, the oil drained in 48 seconds, which is 6 seconds faster than closed cap. So with the engine oil cap open or closed, the difference were 6 seconds. For me it's not a big deal. I prefer to drain the engine oil with the cap closed to prevent dropping any small object or debris in the engine. And another question you may ask, why I stopped the timer after the oil were thin in the drain bolt. Because when the oil thins out in the drain bolt, it will allow the air to enter the engine, so it will be like the cap open. So I continued removing the oil filter, and many people been asking if they should fill the oil filter or not. You can do it, but even if you don't do it, not a problem. For example, this car's oil filter at the side of the engine. If I fill the oil filter with the oil and put it on the engine, it will spill the oil all over the engine. So on cars like this, not a problem if you fill it or not. But on heavy duty diesel engines, you have to fill the oil filter. But what is important things to do, lube the seal and hand tighten it only. So with the engine oil cap open or closed not affecting that much to draining procedure, it was only 6 seconds. For me, I prefer to drain the engine oil with the cap closed to prevent dropping anything in the engine accidentally. So that's for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will leave you with actual draining time with cap open and closed side by side.
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be fixing and discussing a common issue that many car owners facing, small cracks on the headlight. Have you ever noticed small cracks on the headlights? These cracks can occur for several reasons, and it's important to understand why they're happening. First and foremost, age can cause the headlight to crack. Over time, exposure to the elements such as sun, heat, and cold can cause the headlight material to become brittle and crack. And another reason for small crack on the headlight is impact. While driving the car, small rock or debris can hit the headlight and cause a small crack. Finally, poor quality material can also cause a crack on the headlight. If the headlight material is not a good quality, it may not be able to withstand with a normal wear and tear, causing small crack to occur. The procedure will be almost the same as I showed in the other video where I restored the oxidized layer. But sanding procedure will be a bit different to remove that cracked layer, so I will be using coarser sandpaper to remove that cracked layer. So we're gonna need masking tape, these grids on sandpaper, polishing will be optional, rubbing compound, polishing compound, and wax to protect from UV light and not let it crack that fast. And the most important thing in this job is clear coat. You can use clear coat and hardener like me here, or you can use a spray can. But make sure it's a 2K clear coat, they are UV resistant. So we're gonna be sanding the headlights from the clear coat that been applied from the factory, and sand a bit more to remove the cracks. Sanding and removing the cracks depends on the crack depth. Sometimes they are only on the surface, but on these headlights the cracks are deep, almost to the other side. So I will do my best for you guys to see the result. If you are not happy about it, you don't have to do all these steps and you can buy new headlights. With a cracked headlight like this, I always start with dry sanding with 220 grit sandpaper, but sometimes they don't disappear or they already reach to the other side of the plastic.
And masking tape is important in this case because we don't want to damage the paint around the headlight, because we're gonna be using coarse sandpaper and it will easily remove the paint. Use linear motion to sand the headlights. Linear scratch can be smoothed out easily in the next stage. Alright, for the next sanding, I will be using 600 grit wet sanding to smooth out the surface. And here is the result after wet sanding with the 600, 800 and 1000 grit sandpaper. I removed some of the cracks because they were not that deep, but still some left and already reached to the other side of the plastic, so you can still see them. So let's see how it's gonna look after applying clear coat. Before applying clear coat, you have two options. Either you mask the whole front of the car for applying clear coat, or remove the headlight and only mask the back of the headlights. And that's what I'm gonna do, and it's much easier and much faster. One of the most important tips I like to give you guys is never degrease the headlights bare plastic with lacquer thinner. It will create small cracks on the plastic right away. Instead of that, use 70% isopropyl alcohol. Now I'm gonna use my 2:1 ratio clear coat. But for you guys it's easier to use spray can clear coat, but make sure it's 2K clear coat, it's UV resistant and dry fast. I will be applying 2 coats of clear coat on each headlight, and I will wait 10 to 15 minutes between each coat. And here is after 1 hour of applying 2 coats of clear coat. Very good result comparing to how it was before. But if you get real close, you will still see the deep cracks. So if that's the result you want, no need to replace the headlights. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to change transmission fluid on 2017 Toyota Camry at home without using any expensive tool. And this procedure will be exactly the same for 2015 to 2017 models. The problem with these newer models, they don't have transmission dipstick, so you can check the level of the transmission fluid and fill it up from the top. But in a few minutes I will show you everything step by step, and it will be much easier than you think. So here are the things you will need before doing this job. For transmission fluid type, you will need Toyota's WS fluid type. If you are using other brands WS type, make sure it mentions for Japanese cars. We will need 2.5 liter of this 4 liter can. Approximately 2 liter will be drained, and I will show you how to flush the extra half liter later, which it will determine the right level in the transmission without having dipstick. We also gonna need gloves, 1 meter hose, and a funnel like this. You can also use a DC pump for filling up new fluid, which makes the job much easier, so in this video I will show you both ways. After making sure the engine cold to touch and it's safe to work on, you should know that transmission filling plug at front driver side. We're gonna need to lift the car a bit to reach the transmission drain plug, and I will use car's jack, no need to use garage jack. And the second thing we need, start the engine and steer to the driver's side so we can access filling plug. You can jack up the car and remove the wheel as I did in my previous video when I changed the transmission fluid on 2019 Toyota Camry. But you don't have to do that. Just jack up the car to the point where you have room to work and for your drain pan. So jack up the car to the point that the front wheel is still on the ground. Alright, so the filling plug located behind this cover. So we're gonna need a wrench and 10mm socket. After removing these two 10mm bolts, the cover won't come off. There's a plastic tab holding it behind the wheel well. I had to remove that as well. Here is the filling plug and it's 24mm size. Let's get a 24mm socket and undo the plug. Even on the filling plug it mentions to use WS transmission fluid only. Alright, drain pan is ready. Let's get under the car and undo the transmission drain plug. So for that we're gonna need 6mm Allen key. Just keep in mind, removing drain plug not gonna give you complete drain from transmission pan. There's a plastic straw inside it and needs to be removed as well. It's also a 6mm Allen head. This straw determines how much fluid is the right level when we add new fluid. I will get to that when we add new fluid later. While the fluid draining, it's better to lower the car to the flat level. It will help with completely draining transmission pan. Alright, I cleaned everything. You don't have to do that, it's not necessary, but I always do that. Let's put the straw back and make sure to only hand tighten it. You don't have to over tighten it.
A quick wipe and then putting the drain bolt back on. And I only hand tightened as well, because after filling we have to drain the overflow fluid with a warm and running engine. I had to drain the old fluid and show you guys how much we drain it, so you don't have to buy extra liter and not adding extra fluid as well. In this case it's only 2 liters and I will add 2.5 liters and then I will drain the extra half liter. Alright, let's open the can, and I also attached the hose and the funnel as well. If you're working alone like me, clamp the funnel like this so the fluid won't spill on the car accidentally. And I also placed a sharp towel under the funnel in case of any oil drip. This is a 4-liter can. Let's pour half of the can and a little more in the funnel. You can use a DC pump like this, which makes the job much easier, especially when the weather is cold and the fluid gets a bit thick. Alright, I just put 2.5 liters. Let's take the hose out and put the filling bolt back on. A quick cleaning so it doesn't accumulate dust. Now we can put the cover back on. I will just tighten the two 10mm bolts and not putting the plastic tab back on, because I'm planning to change the transmission oil every 30,000 miles. That way it will be easy to reach the filling plug every time I want to change the transmission fluid. Now you can start the engine and let it warm up. You can shift the gears as well. It should be soft shifting. Let's not forget the oil in the transmission not at the right level, but it's a bit more than the right level. So take the car out for a test drive just to warm up the gears, but avoid aggressive acceleration. Alright, we are back. The transmission is warmed up and the car at the flat level. Now we can open the drain plug and drain the overflow oil, and it will be at the factory level. Keep that in mind, only overflow oil will be drained because of the plastic straw. Draining is done. Now we're gonna put the drain bolt back on and tighten it back. Cleaning drain bolt is important in case of leaking oil. And now we are done with changing transmission oil. You must have softer gear shifting after oil change. You should do this oil change every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. And here is how to replace transmission fluid on 2015-2017 Toyota Camry without using any expensive tool. So that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to know if the engine oil quality that you are using is good or bad after driving the car for a certain time. So let's say you bought a used car and they told you they have changed the engine oil in these days, or you already have a car and you have changed the engine oil brand and you wanna know if it's good or bad after using but before damaging the engine. So there are so many ways to know if the engine oil quality good or bad. After 1,000 miles, if it changed color right away, it's a bad quality oil, according to API, American Petroleum Institute. On every oil bottle, oil viscosity and API always mentioned, but with commercial oils, it's written on the bottle but it's not in the oil. So when the oil heats up to engine operating temperature, the oil loses its property and gets thinner, or most of the time vapors a lot. So that's why having oil catch can is very important to have on your car's engine to catch all the vapor. Every oil brand has some vapor when the engine gets to operating temperature, but with bad quality oil, you will get more vapor. If you don't have oil catch can on your engine and using bad quality oil, it will build up a lot of carbon on the intake valves and piston head, causing low fuel efficiency and engine power reduce. And if it's more heavy carbon buildup, it will jam up the intake valves and the piston will damage it and bend it, because it didn't get back to its position according to its timing. Then your engine will need rebuilding. I have a detailed video how I installed oil catch can on my 2017 Toyota Camry. I will make sure to put the video in the description box below and YouTube card if you wanna check it out. Alright, now I'm gonna show you how much oil catch can collected with a commercial oil only in 1,000 miles, even though I use same viscosity 0W20 synthetic oil and same API SN. So after I saw the oil changed color that fast only in 1,000 miles and collected that much oil in oil catch can, I immediately thought about changing the oil before causing any issue in the future. So I went back to use Toyota's 0W20 synthetic oil. And here's the result with Toyota synthetic oil 0W20, that much oil being collected with oil catch can in 5,000 miles. In my opinion, it's a good result to vapor that much oil from 4.5 liters of engine oil. But if we compare it with bad quality oil, it collected that much in 1,000 miles only. I'm sure with the bad quality oil,
It would collect more oil if we let it run till 5,000 miles. Because more we use bad quality oil, more it loses its quality and build up sludge in the engine. That's why I didn't let it run with the bad quality oil till 5,000 miles like I did with Toyota's oil. And cleaning oil catch can is very easy. Just use some carb cleaner and it will dissolve the oil and wipe it off with a used rag. I do this cleaning with every oil change and always stops the oil from building carbon on the intake valves. Imagine between every oil change that much oil entering the engine. If you don't have oil catch can, how much carbon will build on the intake valve? So if you don't have oil catch can on your engine, consider installing one. I will make sure to put the video in description box below how I installed the oil catch can on my car and the type of oil catch can I used in my video. I did another experiment as well. I poured some bad quality oil and Toyota's oil and spray with carb cleaner and let them burn. Toyota's oil had less carbon residue than the other oil. Don't try this at home. I did that for experiment far from cars or any flammable object. So I will leave that for you guys. Why is it bad quality oil had more carbon after burning? So that's for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to flush brake fluid on any car without needing anyone to push the brake pedal for you. I did a video before where I showed when to open bleeding valve, and someone else has to press the brake pedal for you and push the old fluid out, and it has some bad points. Some cars will give you warning light pushing the brake pedal with the engine off, and you have to close the valve before the other person releases the brake pedal, otherwise it will suck the air into the system. But in today's video, you won't have any problem like this. So for 2017 Toyota Camry, I will be using Bridgestone synthetic .4 brake fluid. You can use .3 and .4, but I will be using .4. We're gonna need 2 bottles like this, each one 12 ounces, 350 milliliter, and it will last 50,000 miles. Before changing brake fluid, I will be using brake fluid tester. It will measure moisture percentage in the brake fluid. Because brake fluid hydroscopic, it likes to absorb water. So higher moisture content means we have to flush the brake fluid. Speaking of flushing, I will be using this brake fluid pump for flushing each wheel without needing anyone to press the brake pedal. And the assembly is very easy. Short hose first and then the container. Long hose and then the valve that matches your car's bleeding valve. And you have many valve sizes to choose from. I chose the smallest one. It also comes with extra hoses and Y connectors if your car has dual brake piston and 2 bleeding valves. This kit for the price has a decent suction, and we will see how long it will take to bleed one brake caliper. Alright, now we know what we need. Let's take the brake fluid cap and test the fluid. And I like to take the filter strainer out. It's easier for suctioning old fluid and adding new fluid later. Alright, let's turn the tester on and put it in the fluid. Let's see how much moisture we got. According to the tester, we have humidity more than 4%. If we leave it like this, it will damage all the seals in the brake components. Okay, first thing we need to do, suction the old fluid from the reservoir. So for that, I will change the head from this to needle valve shape. I recommend to put few shop towels around the reservoir in case of spilling any brake fluid, because brake fluid corrosive. It will remove a paint if it stays for a long time. So the first thing we need to do before flushing, suction the old fluid from the reservoir so we can fill it with new one. I'm using the same kit. In this case, no need to use turkey baster or anything else. Because of the size of the bleeding container, I had to drain the container and continue suctioning all the fluid from the reservoir. So in this case, take your time and make sure the reservoir is completely empty. It took me 2 times to drain the container and empty the whole reservoir. Let's uncap the new brake fluid and fill up the reservoir. It will take about half of the bottle. After filling up, immediately put the caps back on because we don't want the new fluid absorb moisture. Here's how the flushing procedure will be. We're gonna start from furthest point to closest point. Rear right wheel, rear left. Front right, and then front left is the closest point to the master cylinder. I'm gonna swap the head again to bleed the brake caliper from all corners, starting from rear right wheel. Removing rubber boots, putting 8mm wrench on the valve, bleeding valve is on. Now I'm gonna open the valve and pump the bleeding kit. It will suction new fluid from the reservoir to the brake calipers, and you will see when the new fluid comes out. And that is it, the flushing procedure done for this corner. After the flushing is done and new fluid came out, I will close the valve, pumping the handle again and then remove the hose from the valve. That way it won't drip any fluid on the caliper. But I always wipe the valve. In case of any leaking, it will be easy to find out. And the last thing, don't forget to put the rubber boots on, and we are done here. After bleeding each corner, you need to drain the container, because I flush it till I fill the whole container, and I wanted to make sure to have a good flush. The important thing is to fill the brake reservoir with a new fluid again after bleeding each wheel, otherwise it will suction air into the system. Alright, moving to the rear left wheel and doing the same procedure. Alright, I'm gonna speed up the process, but for each wheel you're gonna need 5 minutes for bleeding each caliper. In case of spilling any drop of brake fluid, just spray some water and that is it. We're gonna repeat the same procedure again, draining the old fluid, filling new fluid to the master cylinder. This time we're gonna flush front right wheel, and for that we're gonna start the engine and steer the wheel. I could jack up the car and remove the wheels, but I wanted to show how to flush brake fluid at home without having that much tools. As you guys saw it, I just used the kit and 8mm wrench. For each wheel bleeding will be the same procedure. And here is the last one, which is front left wheel. It is the closest one to the master cylinder. We're gonna fill the reservoir to the right level for the last time. And I'm gonna take the filter strainer out real quick to test the fluid condition comparing to before. It's at first yellow light and it means okay. Let's not forget to put the strainer back and putting the cap back on, wiping everything off, and we are done here. This kit made bleeding job so much easier. For the price it has a decent suction. I wish it has a bigger container, but that's pump's capacity limit. Tool wise I only used this 8mm wrench, as you guys saw the procedure. Next item I would recommend you to get is this brake fluid tester. You never know if the brake reservoir cap was loose and absorb moisture. And for brake fluid quantity, for Camry you will need two 12-ounce bottles, which I almost used all and only that much left to be accurate. I also bought this brake fluid bleeder kit, but it needs compressed air, which won't be useful for many of you. This bleeding kit is good for the price if you are willing to work on your car. I will make sure to put some links in the video description box below where you find what I used in today's video. And here is how to flush brake fluid at home in an easy way. So that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I'm gonna answer one of the most frequently commented that I always get asked, do I get warning light after washing the engine? So I thought about showing you guys how I always wash the engine before doing a video or regular car wash. It will be a long video because I'm not gonna cut anything. I may speed up some of the part so you don't have to watch me washing the engine for 15 minutes. And then I will start the engine and show you the dashboard if I have any warning light. And I will make sure to put the foam cannon and detailing brush in the video description box below if you're thinking about purchasing one. Alright, let's get to work. I don't always wash the underhood isolator, especially in the winter, so I'm gonna keep it dry. Alright, next I'm gonna use foam cannon and foam the entire engine, so I can agitate it with a detailing brush.
One thing I would like to clarify, because of the steam comes out of the engine. The engine is not warm, but the water is a bit warm, that's why you can see the steam. And here's my hand on the exhaust shield to clarify that the engine is not warm. Alright, we are almost done. Now I'm gonna go start the engine and take you guys with me, so you can see the dashboard for any warning light. Alright, I'm gonna take you guys off the tripod and take you inside the car. That warning light is for low tire pressure. I had that before, but no check engine light. And no lag or misfire when I push the gas pedal. The question is, do I recommend this kind of engine wash for any car? No. The reason I wash the engine on my car like this, I always check the condition of the wire harness and they are in excellent condition and no damage on them, so I won't get any electrical short and no engine warning light. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope I answered and show you some of your questions that I always ask in the comment section below. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna use engine oil care and cleaner flush before an oil change, and I will remove the engine cover to see before and after pictures so we can see the difference. And I will be using Reynolds oil cleaner and care, and I will be following the instructions exactly on the bottle to get the best result. The instruction is very easy. We're gonna have to pour the cleaner in a warm engine and let it run 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'll be using my Endoscope camera to see how it cleans inside the engine, and then we're gonna do a normal oil change with the filter. Alright, let's start with removing spark plug cover and then spark plug wires. Now we can remove the engine cover. You don't have to do all that, I'm just doing that to show you if the product works or not and how much it will clean after using the product. I have used the bad quality oil before for 2000 kilometers and it made the engine like this. I used some other cleaners but I didn't see any noticeable result. So let's see if Reynolds oil cleaner will clean this. Now we saw how contaminated the engine was. We're gonna put the cover back on, and I'm using drill just to make the job faster, and it's on lowest setting so it doesn't cross-thread any bolt. And then I'm gonna go over them and tighten them by hand. Alright, next let's open Reynolds engine oil cleaner and break the seal. It mentions on the bottle that you have to pour in warm and ideal temperature engine. Our engine is warm and ready to go. Now we're gonna pour the cleaner in the engine and let it run for 15 minutes and let the cleaner do its job. I have tried many engine oil cleaner before but I didn't get a good result, so let's see what Reynolds oil cleaner will do for us. Alright, we're gonna put the engine oil cap back on and start the engine and let it run 10 to 15 minutes, and I will run it for 15 minutes for maximum cleaning. Alright, it's been after 15 minutes. Now we're gonna open the drain bolt and let the oil drain while we remove engine oil cover. The moment of truth. Let's see how much Reynolds oil cleaner cleaned the engine. I see a difference, but maybe you will say I don't see any big difference, so let's compare the before and after pictures. And here is the before and after pictures side by side. You can see a big difference around the spark plug hole and under the camshaft. I also used my Endoscope camera to see if it cleaned anything inside the engine. As we enter the engine, it cleaned the corner, and if you go to the bottom of the oil pan, it cleaned some of the oil contaminant too, and I can see aluminum part now. So with only 15 minutes it cleaned that much. I'm sure if I use it again with the next oil change, it will give much better result. Next I put the drain bolt back on and fill the engine with new oil. And here's how much engine oil contaminant being cleaned with using Reynolds engine cleaner. I can say it was one of the best cleaners that I used so far. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope the video gave you some information before using and buying this product. If the video was helpful and learned something new, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be installing one of my front tower strut bar on this 2019 Toyota Camry. I have the strut bar in 3 different colors, red, matte black and blue, and I did a poll on my Instagram story and you guys voted for red one, so we're gonna install the red one. Strut bar serves to add rigidity to the car's suspension, so when the car taking turns, there will be a pressure on the road surface. The strut bar will maintain the pressure on both sides of the car so that it becomes more balanced. So all we have to do, undo these 3 nuts on both sides and put the plate and torque it down again, and then bolting the bar itself on the both sides. The kit comes with 2 bolts only, but for the plate we will use the same nut again. Alright, let's take them out of the plastic and check them out. So the strut bar itself and the plate made of lightweight aluminum and powder coated. So we're gonna start with installing the plates first. All we have to do, undo these 3 nuts and put the plate and torque it down again. So for that we're gonna need a short 14mm socket, a long 14mm socket, and a ratchet. Surprisingly, all the nuts were not that tight and they were loose. Maybe they were not torqued before, but that's not gonna be a problem. Alright, we have the plate on. Make sure to put this plate here so the thin part over here not touching with the nut. But if you put the right side plate, it will hit the nut. Alright, now we're gonna put the nuts back and tighten them out with a ratchet. And then we can torque it. We're gonna torque it to 85 Nm or 63 pound-feet of torque. Alright, we are done with this side. Let's go to the passenger side. The procedure will be the same. We're gonna undo the nuts and put the plate and torque them back. Alright, we are done with the plates. Now we're gonna bolt the bar itself. The procedure is very simple and straightforward. We just undo the nuts and put them back and torque it again. So with this bolt, make sure to put the washer like this so the vibration won't loosen the nuts down. So I'm not gonna tighten this bolt until I do the other side as well. Now we will need H8 Allen key and 14mm wrench. And we are done. You saw how easy it was. We just took the bolts and then put the plate back and bolt the main strut bar. I think you guys did a great choice. That thread looks absolutely amazing on the engine. So the tools we used, a short 14mm socket and a long 14mm socket, ratchet, 14mm wrench, and H8 Allen key. Product link will be in the video description box below. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. Jack, one of the most important tools that we use whenever we work on the suspension or anywhere under the car. Mine starts leaking fluid all over the floor and now it can't even jack due to the low fluid in the hydraulic system. So whenever this happens, there's a good chance that the o-ring wear out and now it can't hold the fluid pressure and leaking the fluid. I haven't worked on jacks before, but it shouldn't be that complicated to fix that problem. So stay with me to fix that together. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this pin out and separate the jaw from hydraulic shaft. Now we're gonna have to undo this nut and slide it out so we can replace the o-ring. As we can see, there is no good grip to hold that nut, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this shaft so I can separate the jaw from the body, and then we will have more space. Alright, the C-clip's out, now I'm gonna push the shaft. Now we have more space, we can easily undo this nut and slide it out. The o-ring is completely weared out. We can see small rubber particles in the fluid as well. Alright, let's take this o-ring out. All we're gonna need is a flat screwdriver and it will come out just like this. And now we're gonna clean it and then put the new o-ring in. And for the cleaning, I'm gonna use a brake cleaner. I'm just gonna make sure to clean all the corners so we don't have any small rubber particles. These small things will make it leak fluid again if we don't clean it properly. Alright, it's clean now. Let's put the new o-ring in. But make sure to loop the o-ring before putting in the groove. This way it will provide better seal. The nut and the o-ring is ready, but we're not gonna put it on the shaft. I found out there is a small bump on the shaft, so we're gonna sand it down and then put the nut on. For sanding, I'm gonna use 3000 grit sandpaper with a brake cleaner for better surface, but you can use WD-40 as well. This bump on the shaft is not a manufacturer defect or any damage on the shaft. It's just the dirt got dry and it was rubbing against the o-ring and making it leak fluid. So we're just gonna sand it down and make it smooth, so we don't have that problem again. Alright, the shaft is smooth now, bump free. Now we're gonna lube it and then put the o-ring on. Before tying up the o-ring nut, make sure to rotate the filling hole on the canister so it will be on the top side. Now I'm gonna temporarily tighten the nut and then put the shaft back. Alright, the pin is in. Now I'm gonna bend it so it doesn't come out. With the jack laying like this on the side, it will be very easy to tighten the nut if you are working alone like me. Now I'm gonna spray some brake cleaner and clean everything. The jaw shaft is not being lubed before, so I'm gonna use this super lube and then slide it in. I had some squeaking sound before, so this lube will fix that problem. Alright, the C-clip is on. Now we're gonna pull these springs to these pins. Alright, this is the final stage. Let's open this cover and remove the filling bolt. I made this DIY funnel for filling up and not making any mess with the fluid. So here I'm pouring jack fluid and jack up a few times, that way it will bleed the system and push all the bubbles out, because the funnel gives a higher point for the bubbles to escape. Once the jack all the way down and we still have fluid in the funnel, that's the right level. Now we can remove the funnel and put the bolt back on. Alright, we are done. Let's test it out. It feels much smoother than before and no squeaking sound. Let's test on the car now. It's not usually what I do on my channel, but it was a good idea to show you how I would fix that problem. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be upgrading my 2017 Toyota Camry's fog light from SE trim to XSE trim. With the SE trim fog light, you only have a turn signal. It's kinda waste of space for only having turn signal in the bumper. But with the XSE one, you will have a daylight, powerful LED fog light, and turn signals. I will be showing you the hardware connector that you will need and the diagram so you can do it at home. I got the fog light on Amazon. Unfortunately, one of the tabs is broken due to the damage on the package. It's been quite some time from the day I got the package, and now I can't return it or refund. But it's an easy fix. I will take advantage and show you how to fix that broken tab on your car if you have something like this. So for fixing this broken tab, we're gonna need aluminum tape, soldering iron, zip tie for adding some material. But I found this brush which is flexible and the color close to the fog light, so I will use the brush for adding material. But if you have a white zip tie, you can use that one as well. I'm gonna put a piece of aluminum tape on the back of the broken tab to hold it while using soldering iron. With the soldering iron, I will make a groove along with the crack and then add some plastic to give the strength to that part again. Alright, after letting it cool down for a few minutes, now I'm gonna remove the tape. This part is optional. You can smooth it down with soldering iron, or you can use hobby knife to trim the edges and make it look nice. Alright, after trimming down and cleaning everything, it looks strong. It will hold the fog light weight without breaking. Alright, now we're gonna move on for removing the fog light. You can remove it from the wheel well, but you have to remove this part. But what I would do, I would remove the engine undercover and remove the fog lights from them. So for that, I will need to jack up the car and put it on a jack stand. Because I will be using a camera and light, I will need more space. With the cover being removed, we're gonna disconnect the wire harness. Now we're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver to remove the two screws. One will be at the top of the fog light and one under the fog light. Alright, we got the fog lights out. If we look at them, they don't look that different, but if you look at the harness connector, they are totally different. The SE trim has 3 pins and the XSE has 6 pins. Because it's multifunction, it has turning light, daylight, and a fog light. We will need 2 of the 6-pin wire harness connector, some heat shrinks, lighter, cable tape for covering every exposed wire, and about 1 meter of wire to provide that extra line for the fog light. I'm gonna put one of the wire harness connector on the fog light and test it out on the car's battery, so we can know which light is which wire. I got the wires figured out. These 2 will be the ground wire. We don't need this, so I'm gonna cut it. White is signal, orange is fog light, and the red is daylight.
Here's the diagram how you're gonna connect the wires. You may have a different wire colors with the wire harness connector depending on the brand you buy, but on the right side it's your car's original wire colors, and I labeled them which one is which color. For the main fog light, we will need a wire to power up the fog light. After cleaning up this wire, the copper looks very thin, so I had to swap it with this brown one. This extra wire will be connected to the positive of low beam light, which is the black wire. The wire is a bit short even though I took it out of the light bulb, so I'm just gonna use a lighter and strip out some of the wire so I can connect the brown wire on it. After connecting the wire, it's better to use solder so you don't have connecting issue, and then I will use the tape to cover everything, and after that I will put the wire from the bottom. Alright, we are done with the jumper wire. Now we're gonna put it back on the low beam light. Alright, this is the 3-pin wire harness connector from the fog light. You can see we have 3 wires, and the 4th wire is the jumper cable that we took from the low beam. So I'm just gonna cut the wire so we can connect the 6-pin wire harness connector. Stripping all the original factory wires and connecting to the 6-pin wire harness, and I'm gonna do it following this diagram, which I will provide it at the end of the video, and I also show it at the beginning of the video so you can take a screenshot and do the same as I did. For these wires I didn't use soldering iron because the heat shrink will keep it tight and water sealed, but you can use and it will give extra connection. And here is the last wire, which is the jumper between low beam light for powering up the main fog light. Alright, we are almost done. I'm gonna tuck all the wire in this cover and then use the tape. It looks very good now. Now I'm gonna lower it so we can connect it with the new fog light later. Alright, here is the passenger side. I'm gonna cut the wire just like I did for the other side as well. Basically, the procedure is the same just like I did on the other side. You're just gonna have to follow the diagram and all the wires will be connected correctly. And here's the green wire that I said we don't need it, so I'm just gonna cut it. Alright, we are done with the wires. Let's cover it with the electrical tape. Before lowering down the wire harness, I would like to give it a test before putting the fog light in the bumper. All the lights working just like we planned it. Now we're gonna disconnect the fog light and lower the wire down so we can put the 2 screws of the fog light in the bumper and then put the wire harness back. For this kind of installation, you don't need to put the car on a jack stand. I did that just for the sake of the video so I can take clear shots. But now we are done, the wire harness connected and the engine cover. Now we can lower the car. From the first look they look really good. Let's turn them on at night and see how bright they are. Here is the daylight and turn signal light. When we turn on the light, the main fog light will be on, which is really bright. You can see the light distribution in front of the car that creates a V shape. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and found the video useful for upgrading my 2017 Toyota Camry's fog light from SE to XSE LED light. Alright, that's for this video. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to remove camshaft position actuator, clean it and test it on your Toyota Camry. It will be the same for 2015 and 2017 Toyota Camry, based on their location on the engine. So I had an error code 0013, which is camshaft position actuator. This code comes on most of the time if you put heavier oil or the oil quality is bad, and sometimes the wire harness connection issue. So I will take it out and clean it, and also make sure that it's working correctly. So we're gonna begin with removing engine cover and then the wire harness. Now we will need a 10mm for removing this bolt. Alright, after removing the bolt, sometimes it will be difficult to pull the actuator itself if it's not been removed in a long time, so I will use a screwdriver and push it out. Once the actuator out, put a shop towel over there so it catches all the dripping oil. Alright, here's the actuator. So for cleaning, I will use a cut-up cleaner or a choke cleaner. And for testing, I already made a tester wire. It's basically an alligator wire and a push switch. For powering up the actuator, we will need a 12-volt battery like this, or you can use your car's battery. I just connected one end of the wire to the battery pack and the other end to the solenoid. And it doesn't matter which one is a positive or negative. It's a coil and it will work both ways. If the solenoid works like this, it's fine, so we're just gonna clean it with a choke cleaner. And also open the solenoid as we spraying the choke cleaner. If you see oxidation marks on the pins, you can clean it with electronic cleaner or use a flat screwdriver and remove that for better contact. Alright, the solenoid is clean now. Now we're gonna put it back just like we remove it. If you had an error code 0013 and you cleaned the actuator, make sure to replace the engine oil after resetting the error code. Otherwise it will come back again because the actuator working perfectly fine. So the problem was with the oil. Alright, we are almost done and we're gonna put the cover back. You just have to align these 3 pins on the cover and push it down. And that is how to clean camshaft actuator. We just need a 10mm and a carb cleaner or choke cleaner for cleaning and a battery pack for testing. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Hello, it's AliMECH. Today in the morning I start my car and have check engine light. So whenever you have check engine light, it's important to have OBD scanner to scan the car to see what is the error code that makes check engine light to turn on. Most of the time they are easy fix. I usually use this CG Solid OBD scanner. It's easy for connecting and fast, so I'm gonna insert it in OBD port which is located under the steering wheel. We're gonna go to read code and then stored code, and we have PO102. Which is the mass airflow sensor. You either have disconnected wire harness, damaged wire, or just need cleaning. So I'm just gonna quickly check the wire and the wire harness for any damage. In this case it's all good, so I'm gonna remove it and clean it. We're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver, disconnect the wire harness and remove the 2 screws. Now we can pull the sensor out and have a look. If we look closely, these thin wires are the sensors and it has something on it. You do not want to use any brush or something sharp on it to remove that dirt. These thin wires are very sensitive and they can be damaged very easily. So I'm gonna use CRC mass airflow sensor cleaner to clean the sensor. What's special about this cleaner? That doesn't leave any residue after cleaning the sensor, unlike other cleaners. Any leftover residue will cause an accurate reading for the sensor. So we're gonna give it some time to dry and then put it on the engine. So I found one of the filter box clips was open and letting unfiltered air enter without getting filtered. That's why I had that dirt on the sensor. Alright, the mass airflow sensor is dry. We're gonna put it back and screw it on. Then we're gonna put the wire harness back. Now I'm gonna erase the code and start the engine. If the same code comes back again, we have to replace mass airflow sensor. Alright, it's been day 2 and I didn't have any check engine light. So with the help of OBD scanner, mass airflow sensor cleaner and screwdriver, we could fix this problem at home. So hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to use this radiator coolant tester on few different coolants and read the freezing points. I've seen some coolants on the market that just water and color, so this will be very helpful to test them before using them. This inexpensive antifreeze and coolant tester can tell you the freezing point. You just have to squeeze the head to suction some coolant to this line and hold it horizontally till this arrow will be aligned with this one, and then the lower line will tell you the freezing point. Keep in mind this tool working with gravity, so if you see any bubble on the arrow, just give it a few taps to reduce the bubbles and then it will tell you the correct reading. The freezing point that it will give you, it won't be 100% accurate, but something close to that point. So the first test will be tap water. We can see it's at freezing point and not any minus number. This will freeze at 0 degrees Celsius, so we're not gonna use something like this on our car. Alright, next I'm gonna pour the water and suction some green antifreeze. By the way, all these antifreeze are pre-mixed, so we don't have to mix it with water. It's a good idea to bend the tube and hold it with your hand and make sure that you are holding it vertically and align the tap arrow with the vertical line. Then we can read the freezing point. So in this case the freezing point is minus 29 Celsius and minus 20 Fahrenheit. Alright, I'm gonna do the test on other coolant as well, just to show you how easy it is to use this. Looks like all the coolants I have same freezing point. And here is the last coolant, which is called OAT, Organic S Technology, and it's purple. You can use this coolant for 10 years in your car, or you can drive the car for 150,000 miles plus. It's reading more than -29, I would say -32. Now I'm gonna do the same test on my car's radiator coolant, but make sure the engine is cold to touch before opening the radiator cap. I'm gonna do the test straight from the radiator so we can know the freezing point what is in the system. Just like I showed you before, you're gonna have to hold the device vertically so this arrow will be aligned with this line, and we're gonna read the freezing point. In this case it's -43 Celsius. After the test you can pour the coolant back and put the cap back on. If the tester reads 0, which means you have tap water in the system, or you have something like this oily substance, this is the result of mixing two different organic coolants. Here is the video how I flushed and cleaned the entire system without removing the radiator. I will make sure to put the video link in the video description box below and YouTube card if you wanna check it out. I believe this is one of the inexpensive must tools to have for checking your radiator coolant or any coolant before putting on your car system. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be upgrading my 2017 Toyota Camry sway bar link from this aftermarket one to this adjustable one that has grease fittings. If you compare it with the stock sway bar link, it's much beefier than stock one and it's adjustable in case if you installed coilover on your car. The ball joints are bigger and it has grease fittings, so you can grease them once a year. These two factors make them last longer than the stock ones. So what is sway bar links? Sway bar links connected to sway bar, keeping the car balanced around the turns and not letting to roll to one side. So before installing on the car, we need to adjust it to the stock length. Here I have the stock one and use it as a reference. You can eyeball it to the stock length. Few millimeter longer or shorter not gonna be a problem, but if you want accurate measurement, I would use a marker and put a dot on the center of the ball joints and measure between them. In my case it's 26 centimeters, so we're gonna do the same on the adjustable one and adjust it exactly to 26 centimeters. You will also have options to remove the grease fittings with these screws. You can remove the grease fittings and put these screws on, but I would keep the grease fittings on and use 8mm to tie them up. Alright, last but not least, we have to lock the link by using 15mm and 17mm. It doesn't have to be super tight for now because we will check it again once it's on the car. That way it's easier to tighten up when it's on the car and not moving. I will be using 19mm, 17mm, 15mm and 8mm and same size socket and ratchet to make the job a bit faster. Before we jack up the car, make sure the car on a flat surface, gear shifter on parking position and parking brake engaged. Now we're gonna lock the rear tires. We're gonna loosen the lug nuts while the wheel's on the ground. Then we will jack up the car and put it on a jack stand. And here's a clear picture if I want to lift the whole front of the car. Here's where I use the jack. When you're replacing front sway bar links, the whole front of the car has to be lifted. The wheels has to be at the same level, otherwise it will put a tension on the sway bar link and it will be hard to remove them. If you're wondering what are these are the straight brace kit for strengthening the chassis. Detailed video will be in the video description box below. Alright, now we're gonna lower the jack, but I would keep the jack in case of jack failure for extra safety. After removing the wheels, always put them under the car for additional safety and saving space. If you have bad sway bar links, you would be able to move them easily and make bumping sound on the road like this. But in my case they are in good condition. To make the job easier, we're gonna steer the wheel to the opposite side and use 17mm to loosen the nuts. This is one of the easy repairs that you can do at home with common hand tools if you have bumping sound and you want to replace sway bar links. Sway bar link is free now, let's pull it out. There is another difference between these sway bar links as the nut size. On the stock and the aftermarket one are 17mm, but this adjustable one is 18mm. The installation is very easy. It's exactly the reverse of how we removed it. There is no adjusting or anything. This is how you put the washer, so it grips the nut and always pushes the nut so it doesn't get loose. After putting the nuts, it's easier to use ratchet and socket to make the process a bit faster.
Next, we're gonna torque the nuts to 74 pound-feet of torque. Now it's a good time to double check the adjusting nut and tighten it a bit more. Right now it's easier because it's secured from both sides. I also had to check and tighten grease fitting as well. Alright, we are done with this side and it looks absolutely amazing. Off the camera I did the passenger side as well. Let's put the wheels on the car and lower it down. Once the car on the ground, we're gonna torque the wheel. And that is how to replace sway bar link if you have stock sway bar link or aftermarket one and you want to upgrade it to this adjustable one. Hope you guys found the video useful and understand the sway bar link function and how to replace it to this adjustable one. If you found the video useful and learned something new, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be checking my car's check engine light. Most of you might think it will be expensive fix, but it can be fixed for free. When I turn on the engine, we have the check engine light, and this maintenance can be resetted. When I did an oil change last time, I didn't reset this, and now it reminds me for a maintenance and oil change services, so we're just gonna reset it like this. But for the check engine light, we're gonna read the code with OBD scanner. Here I'm using CG Solid. I have a detailed video for this scanner, which is very easy for reading the codes. So we're just gonna turn off the engine and put the key on ignition position for scanning the code. Here I have code PO441, evaporative emission system incorrect purge flow. This would cause in two cases. First, the purge solenoid stuck open and not closing, or you have a loose wire harness and not letting the solenoid to work. And the second case could be the gas tank. Either it's been left loose after filling the gas, or the o-ring being damaged, and sometimes it's just the debris and causing leaking gas pressure from the gas tank. You're just gonna have to clean it and put it on. First I will show you how to check the solenoid if it works or not, and I have this strut brace on the way. I will try my best to show you a good angle view. We're gonna back up the hose clamp over this hose, and it's a good idea to remove this wire harness so you don't damage it. For tight places like this, I like to use hose removing pliers. It really makes the job much easier. Now I'm gonna put the wire harness back and start the engine. You should not feel any suction from this nipple. If you feel any suction over there, it means the solenoid not working and it's stuck open and you have to replace it. But in my case it's working and not feeling any suction. So I'm just gonna put the hose back and we are done here. The solenoid working perfectly fine. Alright, the second common cause is the gas tank cap, which is more common. Most of the time they are just left loose after filling the gas, but in my case I checked and it was tight enough. But if you check the cap o-ring, we can see there's some debris on it, so I'm just gonna clean it and put it back. So for cleaning you can use brake cleaner, carb cleaner, or even WD-40. I'm just gonna spray some on the shaft towel and clean everything off. Make sure to clean where the gas cap sitting and also the gas cap o-ring. The o-ring on the gas cap is clean now, and where it's sitting, if it leaks gas pressure again, you either have to replace this cap or the o-ring, but most of the time you have to replace the cap. If you have a problem like this, it's worth cleaning before buying a new part. Alright, now we're gonna erase the code. If the same code came back after a few days, you have to replace the cap. I also have another video for this purge valve, how to clean it and how to check it. I will make sure to put the link in the video description box below for more information. And here is how to diagnose and fix code PO441. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If you did, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Have you faced a problem like this where the nut makes this sound? You either have to break the stud or damage the hex. Then you will need a special tool to hold that nut. Hello, it's AliMECH. So I'm about to make a video on how to clean exhaust valves and intake valves with walnut shell. Endoscope camera was so hard to reach the valves from oxygen sensor hole. It was so difficult to pass that curve, so I needed to remove the exhaust to take a good quality before and after pictures and videos, but the problem is I can't take it unless I'm using my DSLR camera. This is the problem I'm facing right now from undoing exhaust nut. That's pretty normal for a part of the engine heats up and gets cold all the time.
Removing them will be hard, sometimes it will break the stud if you are not careful. Even I used WD-40 and let it penetrate for a while, but it was making same sound, so I didn't take any risk to break that stud. So the solution for a problem like this is heating the nut. The heat will expand the nut and break it loose, but not by using flame, but using induction heater. Here I have flameless heater from Vivor. It comes with very simple user manual including bolt size and how long to heat it. Proper way to use it with few simple steps. I like when the manual comes with easy step like this and explaining with pictures than reading few pages. Here is the heater. It has hard plastic body with one button and no other adjustable knobs. The longer you press the button, the longer it heats up. But in the manual it tells you how many seconds to hold the button for what size of bolts to stay on the safe side. For changing the heads, it has quick release and lock mechanism. No need to use other tools for changing the heads. It comes with many different wire heater sizes depending on the application you are using. It comes 2 quantities from each wire shape in case if you lose any, so you have a backup. Depending on the bolt size, I will use the 30mm coil wire because it's less than 20mm bolt. And then we have to heat it up from 25 to 30 seconds. Here is the coil size and I will use the small one which is 30mm. That quick locking mechanism is very useful when you are working and you are in a hurry. You don't need to tighten up any knobs or looking for a screwdriver to tighten the wire heater. Alright, I will put back the right size wire back and then we will heat that nut. Few notes before using. Make sure the insulated nut burned. That's after using for few times. It must have a good gap between the heater and the nut. Make sure the wire inserted all the way to the black insulator. Alright, here goes nothing. Depending on the manual, we have to heat it up from 25 to 30 seconds. Just make sure to keep it in the center and not touching the sides, otherwise it will burn the insulator on the wire. It really made it so easy. Just imagine if you don't have this tool and you break that stud, how much it will cost to replace that stud. Alright, we're gonna do the same procedure on the other side, even though I didn't use any WD-40 for penetrating. This is not real-time speed. I didn't want you guys to watch that scene for 25 seconds, but at the end of the video, I will leave you guys with real-time and showing temperature as well. This is so satisfying and easy for undoing exhaust nuts. One of the tips I can give you to keep the heat consistent, keep the nut in the center and not touching the sides of the wire heater. Another safety tip that you should consider, never turn it on without load, otherwise you will damage the heater or the heater wire. I consider this is one of the must tools to have if you are working on your car consistently like me. We all working on used cars, so we will always face bolt like this or nut like this that not breaking loose or we end up breaking it. Vivor's flameless heater link will be in the video description box below for more technical information or purchasing. Now I will leave you guys with heating up this 19mm nut and showing temperature at the same time. You will have a good idea how long it will take to reach any certain temperature. The intake and exhaust valve cleaning video will be coming soon, so make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will mention my top 8 mistakes people do when they start working on their car, instead of fixing, making it even worse. Obviously, this video for those of you who starting working on their car. Most of us did these mistakes before, so I will show you so you don't do that. Keep in mind I have detailed video for all of these, which I'll put them in the video description box down below. If you're trying to adjust parking brake, don't adjust it from the cable. It will put a continuous tension on the cable even when it's disengaged, and it will damage it in a long term. You need to adjust it from brake shoes first and give the brake shoes and the brake drum factory gap. If you notice your brake fluid is low, don't just add brake fluid. It's a good indication that your brake pads are low. Lower brake pads, lower the brake fluid will be to compensate that. And if you have brake fluid leak, that will be a different case. If you're replacing engine filter, always clean the filter box first if it looks like this, and then put the new filter in. Otherwise, all the dirt will be in the new filter soon. Make sure to use the same radiator coolant on your car if you had to add up in case if it was low. If you use different type of coolants, it will chemically react to each other and create this oily substance, which you will need to flush the entire system and change the coolant. If you ever seen bird poop on your car's paint, don't ever neglect it and say, I will wash my car tomorrow. Just pour some water on it and rinse it away. That way the acid won't burn the clear coat and leave marks like this. If you ever had heavy gas pedal, use some WD-40. It will clean all the dirt and make it soft. But if you put oil on it, it will feel soft at that time, but then it will attract dust and make it even worse. After every oil and filter change, take your time and check the oil filter again when you start the engine, in case of oil leaking, and don't let few minutes cost you an engine. Using wrong type of cleaners for different applications, especially for cleaning throttle body and mass airflow sensor. Matter of fact, you can use mass airflow sensor for cleaning throttle body, but you cannot use throttle body cleaner for cleaning mass airflow sensor. Mass airflow sensor cleaners are very special. They clean but don't leave any residue on the surface of the sensor, so the sensor gives accurate reading. I have a detailed video for all of these in the video description box below. Let me know if you did any of these mistakes in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. I recorded this video in 2019 and made a repair and restoration for these damages on this 2010 Mitsubishi Outlander. I wanted to share with you this old video I recorded in December 2019. It was a long video, but I read it again and made it shorter. I can see some wrong things I'm doing here, but I was using what I had with basic knowledge at that time, in terms of quality repair and safety. But the result was good, that's why I wanted to share with you this old video. Let me know in the comment section below the mistakes I'm doing in this video. Enjoy the repair, and I'll see you in the next one.
Messing with my head again. You had your heart set on me, but these feels, they come and go, and they come so easily. Tell me what it is about you that I can't forget, but you're breaking down my walls again, just to set me free. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you are, we always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you are, we always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Staying up when I go out, you gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do why do I, baby, why do why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling?
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be replacing engine filter and the cabin filter on this 2021 Nissan Kicks. I already got both filters. Let me show you where they're located and how you're gonna replace them. The first filter we'll be replacing is the engine air filter. Here is the filter box located on the driver's side. Release the clip and it comes out just like this. By the look at the air filter, it's never been replaced before. When the air filter clogged like this, the engine will have difficulty to suction the required amount of air, and then the engine will burn more gas. When you're putting the new filter in the filter box, make sure these rubber lips in the front, sliding in the tabs and then putting the clips on. Alright, we are done with the engine filter. Let's move on to the cabin filter, which located under the glove box at the passenger side. We just need to remove this cover and then this plastic piece folds up. We can pull the cabin filter out. By looking at the filter, we can see it's been damaged and compressed during sliding in the filter. When the filter stays like this for a long time, it will let all the dirt get in contact with the evaporator and it will never filter the air. I had same scenario with another car, which resulted to have almost clogged evaporator. I did a detailed video where I showed how to clean that evaporator at home and get rid of that smell and clean that evaporator. Video link will be in the video description box below, where I showed how to clean that evaporator from this to this. Here is the new filter. The arrows should be towards you and then it will slide in just like this. This car has very bad design for the cabin filter. You have to be very careful when sliding in the new filter and fix all the wrinkles so it covers all the evaporator and not stay bended like this. Otherwise all the dirt will end up on the evaporator. I just made sure that I fixed all the wrinkles and the filter sitting flat. Now we can close the cover. And the last thing, we're gonna put the cabin filter cover back on. Just make sure when you're sliding in the cabin filter and fix all the wrinkles so it covers all the evaporator and not staying bended like this. And that is how to replace cabin filter and the engine filter. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you what scammers do when they sell a car, so you would be aware of if one day you would buy a used car and don't get scammed like this. I heard so many people say it when they bought a car, the paint was nice and shiny, but after a week, the paint got faded and showed all that white spot on some panels. So whenever something like this happens, it means the paint is not factory paint or the clear coat being damaged by UV light or salty water. Here's an example of my car. This hood being painted and not factory paint. Since the day I got the car, I was applying protection wax to match the other panels. So I stopped applying wax for making this video. If we look at the hood, we can see it's a faded color and feels rough if we touch it compared to other panels. Faded color happens in two scenarios if the panel being repainted. If they didn't paint it in a correct way or they used non-UV protected clear coat, then the panel will look like this. So the easiest way that scammers do by using WD-40. It's an oil water based, they're just gonna spray it on the panel and wipe it off. It will leave a layer of oil on the panel and make it look shiny. So here is the result after wiping off the WD-40. It's not perfect but much better than before. Before applying it was like this and now it's like this. So when the faded paint being covered with WD-40 and you bring the car home and do the first car wash, when the paint gets dry, it will show all the defects. So it's a temporary work just for selling the car. The paint that has WD-40 on it, it will attract dust, so it will be obvious that one panel has more dust on it, and if you touch it, it will feel oily surface. Just a heads up if you buy a used car. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new for buying a used car. If the video was helpful and learned something new, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be cleaning fuel injectors on this 2019 Nissan Kicks. And what is special about this procedure, I'm not gonna remove the fuel injectors and clean them individually. Here's the procedure and how it's gonna work. I will be removing fuel line and then connect my DIY adapter and run the car with a can of carb cleaner instead of gas. This way it will run the engine and dissolve the carb around the fuel injectors and also inside the fuel injector as well. We all know the carb cleaner is much better than gas when it comes for dissolving carbs. But that one was another fuel injector for test, this one still untouched. So you will need a can of carb cleaner or a choke cleaner. Make sure to get the biggest can you can find so you can have more pressure and more run time, which in result it will be more cleaning. So for making one of these DIY adapters, you will need a straw that comes with a spray can, and we need to glue the straw inside a piece of hose that's the same inner diameter as the fuel line. The glue I'm using is a CE glue. It comes with a glue and actuator, and that is what I'm gonna use. A hose clamp will be needed for the other side of the hose, so the pressure of the carb cleaner won't push it out. Alright, few sprays of the activator first. It will make the glue harden up inside the hose before it runs while I hold the straw in the center. And then I will fill the rest with the glue and let it cure and harden up. Alright, we got everything we need. Let's get on the engine so I can show you where to connect this DIY adapter. Here is the fuel line on the fuel injector rail. We're gonna remove that and then connect the DIY adapter so we can run the engine with a carb cleaner can. Depending on your car's model, you're gonna have to remove the fuel line. In my case, it doesn't need any special tool, just a flat screwdriver and then it pops out. And if you leave your car over the night, you're not gonna have any fuel pressure. Otherwise, you need to pull the fuel pump fuse and crank the engine. It will release all the fuel pressure. I'm gonna quickly remove the wire harnesses from the fuel injectors and unbolt the fuel rod to take out the whole fuel injectors. Just to show you the condition of the fuel injectors, you don't have to remove the fuel injectors like me here. I'm just doing that to show you before and after videos so you can see this method works. I always use this plier or a magnet for taking out the bolts so I don't lose any. Here are the fuel injectors. We can see there's a good amount of carbon and burned oil on the fuel injector tips. Now we're gonna put it back just like how it is and then do our procedure. And after the procedure, we're gonna take it out and see if it can clean all that carbon and burned oil on the fuel injector tips. Now let's get back to the fuel rod. Inserting the DIY adapter, the one I showed you previously how to make it, and then clamp it down. The next step is to disable fuel pump from running and pumping gas. You can either disconnect the wire harness like me or pull the fuel pump fuse out. The reason I pull the wire harness out so I can show you when the car is running on a carb cleaner and the wire harness is removed. But remember, for some cars when you pull the fuel pump fuse out, the engine not gonna run, because the same fuse is responsible for some electronics of the engine. Alright, the fuel pump is disconnected. Here is the DIY adapter on the fuel rod, and here's the fuel line. We're gonna tuck it here. Next, inserting the straw on a carb cleaner nozzle and start spraying till it builds up a good amount of pressure. And then we're gonna start up the engine. Make sure to push the nozzle on the carb cleaner can so it feeds up and keep the pressure. Here is the fuel pump wire harness disconnected and the engine still running. Most of the times I keep my finger on a carb cleaner nozzle till the can can't provide enough pressure to run the engine smoothly. And then I will stop the engine. Be careful when you're removing the straw from the carb cleaner can because it still pressurizes it. Wearing eye protection will be important when you're doing this procedure on your car. Alright, the moment of truth. Here's how it looks now. It cleaned a good amount of carbon and burned oil on the fuel injector tips. But the outside of the fuel injector tips are not important, but it is a good indicator that inside the nozzles cleaned up as well. And even if the engine didn't start, just the engine crank and it will open up the nozzles and spray cleaner. We just need a contact between the carb and the cleaner. And here are the before and after pictures. We still have some left, but the outside is not important like the inside where it sprays fuel. I recently cleaned fuel injectors on a different car. We can see it leaking fuel and carb trapped inside and not letting the solenoid close properly. But after a few sprays it got better and not leaking fuel. Alright, we are almost done here. Let's remove the DIY adapter and then put the fuel line back on the fuel rod. Next, fuel pump wire harness and closing the lid. Now we can put the seat back on. Alright, we are done here. Let's start the engine. You might experience a late startup because the fuel line is not pressurized. Till it pressurizes, it will take some time, but you will have that only the first time. I previously cleaned my Toyota Camry's fuel injectors without removing with using O'Toole's C100 kit canister. With this one you will fill the canister with a cleaner and use shop air to pressurize the system. But with a carb cleaner, it's already a cleaner and pressurized, so it's the same procedure but on a budget. And that was how to clean fuel injectors without removing with using a can of carb cleaner. I'll make sure to put some links in the video description box below for related videos. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. So we all know the proper way to park the car with its full safety. When the car is stationary, put the gear shifter on neutral position and then pull the handbrake. But what if the car still moves when you let your feet off the brake pedal? Then you have to pull the handbrake more to stop the car. So in today's video, we will fix that problem and adjust parking brake. Alright, first we're gonna start with blocking front tire from rear and front, and then we're gonna loosen up the lug nuts while the wheel's still on the ground. But make sure the car been sitting for a while so we can work on cooled wheels. Now I will put the car on jack and jack stand. But if you don't have a jack and jack stand, you can use your car's jack and do each side at a time. But here I will do both sides at the same time while the car is still on the jack stand. Now I can lower the car on a jack stand, but I will still keep the jack under the car for extra safety. Push the car sideways. It should be stable and not wobbly. Now we know the car safely on a jack stand. Next, let's lower the handbrake. We don't need it anyway, and then remove the wheels. Sometimes the wheel gets stuck like this. You just need to give it a few push and then it comes off. One of the best safety tips when you're removing the wheels: always place the wheel under the car in case if the jack stand fails. Now if we look at this, it tells us the brake shoes far from brake drum and let it spin freely. But the brake shoes should be slightly touching the brake drum. It should be like this. It still turns, but we can hear the brake shoe sound touching the brake drum. So after removing the wheel and using WD-40 on these places, I'm gonna use a 12mm bolt and screw it here. It will pop up the drum without needing to use any hammer. So the first thing we should be checking is the brake shoes. If your brake shoe is less than 3mm, you should replace it before adjusting. But for now mine more than that, so we're gonna clean it and then adjust it. We have so much brake dust and road grime here, I always clean it before adjusting. I previously made a video how to clean brake drum with brake cleaner and dish soap. I will make sure to put the video link in the video description box below and YouTube card if you wanna check it out. Which way is the best way to clean it? Now it's all nice and clean. Next we're gonna adjust it from the back. But first let's put the drum back on and then adjust it. Okay, next we're gonna remove this rubber cap and then adjust it with the same flat screwdriver. You basically just rotating this. This is how it looks like from inside. It's better to check the brake rotation with every click. It should rotate with minimum resistance and the brake shoes sound touching the brake drum. Next we're gonna put the rubber cap back on and then we are done here. One of the biggest mistakes people do when adjusting brake shoes, they don't adjust it from brake shoes itself. They adjust it from parking brake cable, and this will continuously put a tension on a brake cable and damage it in a long term. The factory manual recommends to have 0.25 to 0.50 gaps between the brake shoes and the brake drum. This is when the brake handle disengages and there is no tension on the parking brake cable. So I quickly did the other side as well. If you count how many clicks you adjusted one side, the other side will need the same adjustment because both have same brake shoes wearing. Okay, now we are almost done. We're gonna put the wheels back and then lower the car.
Before lowering the car, make sure the parking brake engages before lowering the wheel on the ground. Next, we're gonna torque the wheels and then we are done. Alright, let's give it a test. And if you know that you adjusted both sides like same, engage the parking brake and drive. It should lock the wheels and drag them like this. And that is how to clean and adjust parking brake. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to clean drum brake or disc brake with a specific brake cleaner and dish soap water and see which one gives us better result. So after removing the wheel and using WD-40 on these places, I'm gonna use a 12mm bolt and screw it here. It will pop up the drum without needing to use a hammer. We have so much brake dust, road grime and mud here. We need something to clean this all before doing any brake adjusting. Okay, first I will use CRC brake cleaner. It's specifically made for removing brake dust and oil. With brake cleaner, we can see the brake dust being dissolved, but I'm not sure how to clean the mud. I have already used half of the can, but still we have dust. When the cleaner dried out, we can see all the mud remaining and then remove them all. Next I will use mixture of dish soap and water and spray it on the entire brake and use my detailing brush and clean all the corners. That's what I always do before doing any brake adjusting. Some of you might ask, this procedure will wash out all the lubricant. It's the same if you use brake cleaner, it will remove all the oil and lubricant. But the point here is, every component here are sealed, like a brake piston and the bearing. Plus, this part here always gets wet when you're driving in a heavy rain and there is no problem. Here I'm using pressure washer, but you can use garden hose as well. If the bearing lose the rubber seal or got damaged for any reason, they won't hold the grease and it won't last that long. Because when you drive and the friction creates heat, it will soften all the grease and push them out. Let's talk about lubrication after cleaning. I never use any type of lubrication after doing this job. These arms actually works better when they are dry and brake dust around them. If I use any type of lubricant, all the brake dust will be like a magnet and stay there and make these moving parts hard to move in a long term. But when it's all dry, all the brake dust won't stick to any moving part. So here is the result with brake cleaner and here is with the dish soap and water. If you're doing this procedure in your garage, better to clean it with water and dish soap. But it won't be possible for a dealer to bring water inside the garage and wash it for you like this. It's easier to use a spray can for them. So let me know which one would you prefer in a comment section below. Hope you guys found the video useful and know why I would prefer washing instead of brake cleaner. If you found the video useful and learned something new, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. Have you turned on the car and you have low fuel warning light and the fuel gauge reads empty and you wondering that you had half tank or maybe more, why it reads empty now? So in today's video, I will show you 2 ways to fix that problem. We're gonna start with the easy fix. If it didn't work out, we will move to the second option. So the first option is to reset the computer. For that, we don't need any scanner or special tool. We just need to locate the fuse box, which located on the driver's side and the engine bay. Pop the cover by squeezing 2 side tabs. We need to pull this ECU fuse and put it back again. It will reset the electronic control module. You just need to pull the fuse out and put it back again. No need to wait. It will give the power to the ECU again. Let's put it back and start the engine. Now we have the gauge working again and showing the correct fuel level and no more low fuel warning light. So if resetting ECU didn't get the gauge working again, you need to take the fuel pump assembly out and replace the gauge. I have a detailed video how to take the fuel pump out and replace the fuel pump and the fuel filter. I will make sure to put the link in the video description box below so you can check it out. This video will be a complete guide if you want to replace fuel pump and fuel filter. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be testing Reynolds fuel injector cleaner and see if it can clean fuel injectors, and we will see if it can clean carbon buildup on the piston head as well. But the result was unexpected. I have never had that with any cleaners. Stick around so I can show you how to use it the best way as it mentions on the can. So the instruction on the can says you need to pour the cleaner into the almost empty tank and start the engine for 10 minutes and then fill the car. What it means by that, it will be mixed with less fuel so the injectors take fuel and concentrated cleaner at the same time. So if you wait till you have almost empty tank, pop the gas door and then drain the cleaner. That is if you have almost empty tank, or you have to wait till you burn all that fuel. But in my case I have more than that, almost a full tank. So here is what I'm gonna do. I will be using O'Toole's C100 kit canister. It will bypass the fuel tank. This canister will be filled with cleaner and works like car's fuel tank. I just need to put the right fitting on the hose for the fuel rod. I'm gonna hang it under the hood, and the kit hose has to be connected on the fuel rod instead of fuel hose that comes from fuel pump and the fuel tank. So I'm gonna quickly remove the filter box and the filter and then the intake hose to get access to the fuel rod. We just gonna need to remove this plastic protective cover and use fuel line removing tool and pull the hose out. Now we can insert the kit hose on the fuel rod. Alright, the hose connected on the fuel rod and it goes back to the C100 kit canister. Now I'm gonna put everything back so you can be able to start up the engine. Next we need to pop the rear seat and remove the fuel pump cover so we can unplug the fuel pump wire harness. It will prevent from running and pumping gas because we already removed the fuel line and it works on the canister now. I didn't remove the fuse instead of wire harness. I did that before and the engine didn't start. Fuel pump fuse is also responsible for other electronics of the engine. Let's fill the canister with Reynolds fuel injector cleaner and see how it will clean. This kit will be very useful if you have a garage or working on your cars like me, but it will need a compressor as well to build that pressure and push that cleaner into the fuel rod. I always adjust it on 60 psi. Let's open the lower valve and start the engine. We're gonna let the engine run for 10 minutes and the cleaner will go through all the injectors. After cleaning process, we will check the carbon buildup on the pistons. If it clean carbon buildup on the piston heads, it means that it clean fuel injectors as well. We will also check the fuel economy, how many kilometers we can drive with a full tank. If you're doing same procedure like me with the fuel pump wire harness disconnected, it's pretty normal to have low fuel level warning light. Once we are done and put back wire harness, the fuel level and the gauge will be working again. It's been 10 minutes the engine running on Reynolds fuel injector cleaner. Now I'm gonna close the valve and then turn off the engine. Now I'm gonna remove the canister hose and put back the fuel line again. This fuel line pliers is very useful for this kind of hose. I will make sure to put some links in the video description box below for every tools I use in this video. Now I'm gonna take the car for a ride and fill the tank. I have almost 700 kilometers with a full tank. I usually get 500 with a full tank. So far it's a good result. Now we will check piston carbon buildup with the Endoscope camera and compare the before and after pictures. Here's how it looks now after using Reynolds fuel injector cleaner, and here's before cleaning. It is the same piston, and this cleaning for 10 minutes it's a very good result, plus improving fuel economy. And here's the result with using Reynolds fuel injector cleaner. It's recommended to use every 10,000 kilometers with a low fuel tank. All the tools I used in this video, you can find them in the video description box down below. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to test oil catch can and see if it's capable to separate oil from PCV, positive crankcase ventilation hose. So in case if you buy one and you want to give it a test before putting on the engine and see if it works or not before waiting for a week or a month and then see the result. I have a detailed videos where I installed oil catch can on the engine. These video links will be in the video description box below if you want to learn how to install oil catch can on your engine. Here is the oil catch can I put on my cars. They have multiple colors to match your car. If we look at the inside, this is the inlet and this is the outlet port. This filter and this plate will separate oil, but we will test how good they work together to separate liquid. Alright, let's put the cap back. So for testing, I have this compressor handle here. It has its own hose for extracting water. We're just gonna connect the compressor hose here and spray air and water from the inlet of the oil catch can. And from the outlet, only air has to come out. All the water has to be separated. If the design of this plate and the filter is correct, it's gonna separate the water. Alright, I got some water here, and the compressor handles hose inside the bottle to extract the water. I'm gonna adjust the nozzle to full opening to spray maximum water. Okay, here goes nothing. I'm gonna spray some good amount of air and water, maybe 20 minutes if no water comes out in the outlet port. On the engine, you won't have that much oil liquid unless you have some serious problem with the engine. But this is only for test, you don't have to do that. So far so good. Looks like the filter and the plate separating the liquid very good and not letting any water comes out from the outlet. Alright, let's open the cup. Here is all the water separated from the air. And that is exactly how much water I sprayed with the compressor handle. The plate and the filter did very good job for separating the water from the air. Another benefit of oil catch can is minimizing carbon buildup on the piston head. If you eliminate entering oil vapor into the combustion chamber, carbon buildup will be less after a while without using any cleaners. It's been about a year I have installed oil catch can on my car, so let's see how much carbon we have on the pistons and compare it to how it was before. Alright, I'm gonna enter cylinder number 1. Here is how it was before installing oil catch can, and here is how it looks now. You can see a significant change from heavy carbon buildup. And here is cylinder number 2. Same heavy carbon buildup before installing oil catch can, and here is how it looks now. And here are cylinder number 3, and the last, cylinder number 4. With every oil change, that much oil being collected from entering intake manifold and burn on the pistons to create carbon buildup. You just need to clean that much oil and put it back again. Hope I answered some of your questions about oil catch can, how it works and how it separates liquid. I will make sure to put some links in the video description box below how to install oil catch can and where you can find this oil catch can, the one I installed on my car. So that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you how to remove sticker that been on a glass for a long time, and if you try to peel it off, it comes off in small pieces rather than one complete piece. So I will be using this portable scraper. Basically, it's a blade with a handle. It comes with a blade backward for safety. Make sure to flip the blade before using. We also gonna need some microfiber towels, detailing brush, and a glass cleaner. Alright, now we know what we need. Let's get inside the car. Place a microfiber towel under a sticker to catch any dripping glass cleaner. Next, let's spray some glass cleaner. This is not for cleaning or dissolving the sticker. It will work as a lubricant between the glass and the blade. We don't want direct contact between the blade and the glass. Now let's use the scraper around 45 angle and slowly work our way down to peel the sticker in one piece. You can use some more glass cleaner too for smooth movement if it sticks to the blade. Next step for cleaning sticker residue. We're just gonna spray some glass cleaner and scrape it off. Now we can wipe it off and check for any leftover sticker residue. Some sticker residue left on the black paint of the glass, so I'm not gonna use the blade on there. I will put some glass cleaner on the detailing brush and agitate it and then wipe it off. You really don't need any sticker residue cleaner. And here is how to remove all sticker in one piece. I'll make sure to put the products links I used in the video description box below. And let me know how you would remove sticker on the glass. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be testing engine cleaner from gunk and see how good it will clean the engine. As we can see, the engine not being cleaned before and it has so much dust and road grime on it. I'm gonna be using the foam version in this video. They have 3 types of spray cans depending on the condition of the engine you will be cleaning. In my case, it's just the dust and road grime, no leaking oil or burnt oil on any surface. Make sure before doing any engine wash that you left the engine over the night without starting, so you have a cold surface. Alright, before doing anything, let's disconnect the battery terminals so we don't have any problem in case if any wire harness leaking water. Okay, let's use gunk's engine cleaner foam type. Don't forget to shake the can well before using. The instruction is very easy. Spray it on a cold engine and leave it for 10 to 15 minutes and then rinse it with water. I had better result with 15 minutes before, so I will leave it for 15 minutes again and then pressure wash it. You don't need to use pressure washer, just a garden hose will be good for rinsing. I still feel I have some left in the can, so I'm gonna use it under the hood. Now the can is empty. I could cover the whole engine bay and under the hood. Now we're gonna give it 15 minutes and then pressure wash it. Now we're gonna give the engine bay some time to dry, because when it's wet it looks all shiny and clean, but when it's dry it will show the dirt. Alright, now the engine is dry. Looks like I used plastic restorer on the plastics, but I haven't used anything. The plastic on the engine looks like new and not faded color. The hood, not so good. I think it got dry faster than the engine, and the reason I believe it's like a vertical surface and it didn't let the cleaner stay on the surface and do its job. But overall, the engine looks great now, and here's how it was before and here's how it looks now. It's a big difference without using brush. The video is not sponsored and I bought the product with my own money. I have used this product before and had good result with it. I thought it was a great idea to share with you guys since some of you been asking me what kind of engine degreaser I'm using. If you're interested in this product, let me know which one I test in the next video. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. This is not from cleaning engine. It came out from air conditioning of this car. So if you have odor in your car, keep on watching this video, because you're not gonna believe how bad smoking is for you and for your car. Hello, it's AliMECH. So in the previous video I showed how I detailed the interior of this car, cleaned the floor with Vivor's wet and dry vacuum cleaner, and also cleaned the seat, the doors, but I still have odor in this car. So after I looked at the air conditioning vents, I thought it was just the dust, but when I took the cabin filter out and used my endoscope camera to look at the evaporator, that's how it looks and it's very bad. Even they used a lot of perfume in this car, so the mix of these two is very bad for someone who's sensitive with bad perfume and smoking. For cleaning this evaporator, we're gonna need different size of brushes. I have this set here and only this one will be useful, which is the plastic one. This is the metal one and this is the brass one. We're not gonna use these two, only the plastic one. Different size of detailing brushes. They will be useful for the corners. And I have this one here. It has a thin handle. It will be useful for cleaning the surface of the evaporator. For cleaning agent, I have this mixture here, which is the shampoo and degreaser. I have good result with it and I'm gonna use it again. Another spray, only water, for rinsing and cleaning the evaporator. I have this compressor handle here as well. It will be very useful if you have a compressor. You can apply the cleaner with it and then rinse it with water. But this one will need compressor at home. and few microfiber towel to keep the dirt. So getting access to the cabin filter and the evaporator from passenger side, we just gonna remove this cover and then this white cover for the cabin filter. If you look at the filter, it's not that bad because I pressure washed it temporarily and I didn't want to put new filter on before cleaning everything. So the draining port looks okay, but the evaporator surface and the fins covered with nicotine, and the oil perfume made everything stick to the surface like a magnet. Alright, let's get our cleaning mixture and start spraying on the evaporator. Just make sure to put a towel under the plastic to catch any cleaner drip. Using Endoscope camera will be very helpful, especially the one I'm using now, because it has 3 cameras, one in the front and 2 at the sides. Now I'm using the one in the side and it gives me this view. I will make sure to put the link in the video description box below if you want to purchase one. I'm using detailing brush just to spread out the cleaner and not applying any pressure, otherwise it will bend the fins. The cleaner will dissolve the oil and the nicotine. With using this brush will let me spread out the cleaner from close areas because of the brush angle. Now we're gonna let the cleaner dissolve that dirt and penetrate. 10 to 15 minutes will be very good, and then we're gonna spray some water. Alright, it's been after 10 minutes, let's spray some water. Make sure to do overlap passes so you can cover every spot and rinse that cleaner on the evaporator. You will see the dirt drains under the car as you spraying water. If you don't see it, it means the drain being clogged. I could see more dirt comes out from drain port until I stopped and saw this. It smelled just like the odor it was in the car. So I continued to do the same procedure many times to clean that evaporator from that nicotine. After 5 cleaning cycles, spraying cleaner and rinsing with water, we could bring it to this. We could remove all that dirt, nicotine and oil on that evaporator. This car's air conditioning not only smells better now, but also cooler, because the air will have direct contact with the evaporator. Next, we're gonna put a new cabin filter in and then close all the covers. So if you bought a used car and you have odor in the interior, the air conditioning evaporator will be the first place to check and clean. I collected some of the drained water from the evaporator and this is what I ended up with. I will make sure to put the Endoscope camera's link in the video description box below along with the brushes I used in this video. Alright, that's for this video. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be testing and reviewing Vivor's dry and wet vacuum cleaner. It can be used for dry, wet, spraying cleaner and vacuum at the same time, and it can be used as a blower as well. So is this 4-in-1 vacuum cleaner good as it looks? We'll find out very soon. So the cleaner weighs 20.5 pounds, 9.3 kilograms, 1.5 meter hose length, and the first thing I saw, it has retractable extension cord that it reels itself. It has a 4-liter rear tank that can be filled with mixture of water and cleaner, and the suction hose will be inserted here. Other brushes and the filters stored inside the vacuum cleaner for saving space. So in the box you will get mesh filter for the wet suction, dry suction filter, 2 attachments for spraying cleaner and vacuum, brush attachment, floor brush, and 2 extenders. This filter is for dry application and you need to change it to this mesh if you're working with a wet surface, but for now I will keep it on the dry filter. It comes with extra o-ring for the hose fitting and the battery for the remote controller. You just need to pop the cover and insert the battery and close it off. The cleaner can be turned on and off, changing low and high suction and spraying cleaner just by using the remote controller. The suction looks good, but the real challenge will be on a carpet, and if you remove the hose and attach it to the back port, it can be used as a blower. I took the seats out of this car, looks like it's not been cleaned for a long time. We will put Vivor's vacuum cleaner under a test and use all its features. For the rear tank, I will mix 1:4 ratio of water and carpet cleaner, just make sure it's not too thick. Alright, let's put the tank back and start with dry vacuum cleaning. Once you turn it on, it will run on high suction mode. If you press the power button again, it will run on low suction, but I want to test it on full capacity. The suction looks good, but I was expecting to be more quiet. But if I compare it to my other cleaners, looks to be the same. In this video, we will be using and testing Vivor's vacuum cleaner, and also I will show you how I would detail interior for any car at home. First, we will start with dry vacuum cleaning and then using wet vacuum cleaning feature. The product link will be in the video description box below plus the discount code. This video gonna be a bit longer than my usual videos because I want to show you everything that I did for cleaning this car and using this vacuum cleaner. The brush head will be very useful for any stuck dirt in the corners, so I like to use this brush at the end after cleaning all the loose dirt. Alright, next let's change the brush to spray cleaner and wet vacuum for cleaning the carpet, but remember, you have to change the filter to the mesh one first. Press the spraying button on the controller and start cleaning. If your carpet has dirt in it, you will be able to see through the transparent attachment. After I see no stain water comes out from the carpet, I will stop the cleaner and just dry it out. For the seats, I will be using the same attachment. It's very easy for controlling, but if you have bigger surface, you can use the other big brush as well. For the rear seat, I use different technique. I used my pressure washer and foam cannon, agitated with detailing brush, and then vacuum it out. Now I will be using its last feature, which is blowing air. I would say it's okay, because the propeller is designed for creating suction more than pushing high volume air out. After finishing your detailing or cleaning any surface at home, you can remove the top part, drain the water and pressure wash it. It will be ready to use again. In my opinion, it's a good tool to have for cleaning your car or household using. For the size and its capacity for cleaning, I'm really impressed. Product link will be in the video description box below, plus the discount code. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be removing fuel injectors on this 2021 Nissan Kicks, and then I will show you how to clean them in an easy and effective way. Removing fuel rail is very easy on this car. We just need to remove PCV hose and this oil separator hose, and then we can unbolt the fuel rail. Let's use a pair of needle pliers to remove the hoses. Removing these two hoses will make the job much easier when taking the fuel rail out. Next, we will disconnect the fuel line with a flat screwdriver. You can take the fuel pump fuse out and crank the engine, so the injectors release the fuel pressure and not splash the gas when removing the fuel line. But if you leave the car over the night, you won't have fuel pressure just like this. This engine has 8 fuel injectors, so make sure to remove all 8 connectors. Needle pliers works the best for pulling the connectors in this tight spot. Next, we will remove these two 10mm bolts of the fuel rail. Next, we will need ratchet, extender and 10mm socket. And from what I tried, small set of ratchet works the best on this spot. I will use this plastic clip removing tool to pull the fuel rail out, but you can use a long flat screwdriver as well. And here are all the 8 injectors. Next, I will show you how to remove them from the fuel rail and then clean them. Next, we're gonna remove fuel injector clips with a flat screwdriver, but make sure not to lose any of them. And then pulling each fuel injectors out from the fuel rail. It's important to clean the fuel rail as well, because most of the time dirt sits inside the fuel rail and clog cleaned fuel injectors again, and that's what we're gonna do after cleaning fuel injectors. Next, cleaning fuel injectors. I will start with removing upper O-rings first and then give it a good cleaning from the outside. It's a good idea to replace the O-rings every time you take the fuel injectors out with a new one, but I always check them. If they have no crack on them, I can use them without any problems. For cleaning, I will use carb cleaner to clean the fuel injectors from the outside first. I always get asked why I use carb cleaner for cleaning fuel injectors and not using any other cleaners like a brake cleaner or something else. If we look at the injector tip closely, we can see how carb cleaner dissolves it instantly, and that's how it cleans inside the fuel injectors when we apply voltage to open injector solenoid, so the cleaner passes through the nozzle. Next, cleaning fuel injector raw. Make sure to spray in each hole and then drain it few times. Next, I will remove fuel injector filter out with a screw like this before cleaning, and after cleaning we will put new ones in. You can also use specific fuel injector filter removing pliers too. I will make sure to put the link in the video description box below. Next, I will use universal fuel injector adapter for cleaning fuel injectors, but make sure to use another O-ring if you are willing to put the old O-rings back. Using this fuel injector adapter is very easy. You just have to put an O-ring on a fuel injector and insert it in, and then we can put it on a carb cleaner, but not like this. You should put the adapter first and then the injector. The fuel injector adapters comes with 2 wire harness connectors for powering fuel injectors. You just need 12-volt battery. It doesn't matter which one is a positive or negative. When we apply voltage, you should be able to hear clicking sound on the nozzle, but right now, no sound, it's not working. I had to break the connector because they were too far from each other. Next, I had to put a heat shrink on it so it doesn't touch each other and create short circuit. Now we can put each wire on each pin, and it doesn't matter which one is a positive or negative. It's a coil and it will work both ways. Now we need to hold the fuel injector along with the adapter and push it down on a carb cleaner, and at the same time give it 12-volt battery. This is called fuel injector leaking. It shouldn't be spraying at this time without giving power. It means some carbon stuck between the nozzle solenoid and prevent it from closing. We're gonna give it some continuous long power and it will clean it and not leaking again. This part of the video is not being edited. You can see in real time how it was leaking and how it works now. After cleaning, I'm gonna raise my hand on a carb cleaner and give it power to release that pressure. So I continued to clean other fuel injectors with the same method. I had many leaking fuel injectors like this one and I had to clean all of them. I will put this real-time video at the end so you can see how long it took me to clean one leaking fuel injector. After cleaning all fuel injectors, we're gonna put new filter baskets in, and I will provide everything I used in this video. And here's the comparison between the new and the old basket filters. Next, we will drop the new filter basket in the nozzle and give it a light push. So I continued inserting other filter baskets for the other fuel injectors. Next, inserting set of new O-rings on the fuel injectors. As I mentioned before, if they don't have cracks, you can reuse it, but it's better to use new ones so you don't have to worry about leaking fuel. Now the fuel injectors and the fuel rod all clean. It's important to loop the O-ring before inserting the fuel injectors. It will provide better seal. Here I'm using 0W20 engine oil, but the type of oil not that important. You just need some kind of lubrication for the O-rings. Next we will insert the fuel injectors back on the fuel rod again. Pay attention to the fuel injector pin. It should be aligned with the fuel rod pin. Otherwise the wire harness connector will be at the back side, then you have to rotate it. When you're putting the metal clip back, make sure to wiggle the fuel injector to make sure that it's sitting in its groove correctly. It's important to clean fuel injectors holes before putting injectors back. That way the O-rings will sit with a clean surface to prevent leaking any pressure. When you're putting fuel rod back, pay attention to the fuel injector tips, align them with the holes and then push it in. Next we will put the two 10mm bolts back on the fuel rod, and these are the only bolts we removed for taking the fuel rod out. Alright, fuel rod secured now. Now we can put the harness connectors on the fuel injectors. Next, putting oil separator hose and PCV hose back on the engine. And the last thing, connecting fuel line back on the fuel rod. Alright, we are done. All the wire harnesses and the hoses back on the engine. Now we're gonna start the engine. It will start a bit late for the first time, and that is normal. Because the fuel injectors and the fuel rod is empty, it will take some time to refill them with the fuel and push the air out. You must have stable engine like this. If you're experiencing shaking engine after cleaning fuel injectors, one or more than one harness connector not staying good, or you have leaking from the O-rings. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. Now I will leave you with this real-time clip so you have an idea how long it took me to clean one leaking fuel injector. The products I used will be in the video description box below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be cleaning PCV valve on this 2021 Nissan Kicks and also cleaning this hose, which I will explain what it does in a minute. Most of the cars have this valve. It's called PCV, positive crankcase ventilation, which it works like one-way valve. So what's PCV valve? PCV valve controls emissions. It takes all the gas produced by crankcase and routes them back to the engine's combustion chamber to be safely burned without harming your vehicle or environment. Over time, oil clogs this valve and all the oil vapor goes from this hose to the throttle body, and it will make them look like this. If the throttle body not being cleaned early, it will damage the electrical door. Then you will have unstable engine idling. We're gonna start with the PCV valve. Just use pair of pliers or needle pliers to squeeze the clamp and pull the hose out. Next we need 23mm socket and a wrench for PCV valve itself. Turning it to the left will loosen it up. Here is the PCV valve. When you shake it, you should be able to hear the bolt sound if it's clean. I will use carb cleaner for cleaning from both sides. If I spray it from this side, you can see it comes out from the other side. But if I spray it from this side, it doesn't let it to come out from the other side, and that is what is called one-way valve. Now we can hear the bolt sound after cleaning. Most mechanics will tell you don't clean it and just replace it. If we cut it in half, we can see there is a steel or a plastic bolt and a spring inside it. There is no complicated part, so if you clean it or replace it, not gonna make any difference unless the spring is broken. When we sprayed the cleaner, it shows that it comes only from one side, and that indicates that the PCV valve is working and no need to replace it. These PCV valves are plastic and no need to over tighten it. Tighten it till it stops and that is it. Next we will put the hose back. We are done with the PCV valve. Next we will clean this hose, which it works like oil catch can on this car. If we look at the design, oil vapor enters from low side and any drop of oil will sit at the bottom and let the vapor out only. And this one needs cleaning sometimes, otherwise it will be clogged. I will start with using valve cleaner first. Because it's foamy, it will push anything out if it's stuck inside it, and make sure to use it from both sides. This is a piece of hardened carbon oil mixture. When you never clean it, this will accumulate and close this line. And then I like to use carb cleaner. It will dissolve any oil and dries faster. Now we will put it back on the engine and clamp it back. These are easy maintenance and it will extend your car's engine life and not letting your throttle body gets like this. If you're doing an oil change on your car, go out and clean these for better engine breathing. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be working on this Volkswagen Jetta and it has poor engine performance. An EPC warning light along with the check engine light is on the dashboard. Whenever we have warning light on the dashboard, we should be able to read it with OBD scanner. The code is PO2263 and it's turbocharger boost performance. This code comes up when the turbocharger not building any pressure. Either the turbo shaft stuck due to broken bearing or the air leaks somewhere. We also have a spare junkyard turbo in case we need to replace the turbo. So I'm gonna show you how to check it before putting on the car. You can rotate the compressor side to feel if it spins freely and not touching to the sides. Because the clearance between the housing and the blade is less than a millimeter, it feels good not touching to the sides. And the second test, use a needle pliers to wiggle the shaft to test the bearings. It shouldn't be moving side to side like this. And also not in and out. So this turbo is not good. The shaft wiggles under pressure, the blade will touch the sides, slow down the speed and making whining sound. So we're gonna be removing filter box and the air duct between the turbo and throttle body. Checking any broken parts that causing leaking air, otherwise it will be the turbo which is located here. So I removed the clamp and the PCV hose to remove the filter box out. Next removing the sensor wire harness and this hose to take the air duct out. So the first thing I saw, the throttle body not being cleaned in a long time, and some of oil sitting here too. But so far I haven't found any broken part to leak the air out, so it means we have a problem with the turbocharger. So I sprayed some W40 on these bolts. Since they are bolted on the exhaust side, sometimes it will be hard to remove them due to heat and rust effect. I thought the heat shield plate will come out, but it didn't, so I had to remove turbocharger coolant line as well. The cover is off, and I also had to remove this hose to see if the oil got into the turbo. The good thing is there is no oil in the turbo, it's just in this hose. And I also found a problem. The actuator rod that opens and closes wastegate is broken, so the gate is always open and the turbo not building any pressure. This is the wastegate and the broken shaft actuator no longer have control on this and it's always open. And this gate most of the time is closed until the turbo builds recommended pressure and then it opens. Let's disconnect the wire harness and remove two bolts to remove the actuator. Here is the actuator and the shaft is broken. Let's remove the other piece on the wastegate. We just have to remove the C-clip and it comes out. So in this case you either have to replace the whole actuator or weld the broken part, and that's what I'm gonna do. I had to wrap a wet rack on the actuator to prevent from heating and not damage while welding. Alright, first side is done. Let's flip it around and do the other side as well. I had to file the excessive weld to make it flush, but it's not that important, it's just for look. I think it's much better than before and it has more meat. They should make the shaft thicker so it doesn't break over there. Next I used CRC intake and turbo cleaner. It was a good time to clean it before putting everything back. And the reason I use CRC cleaner, it's safe for turbo and the throttle body. And now we will put the actuator back on the turbo. You don't need to have a welder, you can just replace it with a new one. Next we will put the C-clamp back and then the wire harness. Next putting turbo hose back and then the exhaust heat shield, bolting everything back just like we remove it. I had to use CRC intake cleaner again on throttle body and use a brush to agitate the oil and then gently wipe it with a paper towel. After that I used throttle body cleaner for extra cleaning. Alright, the throttle body is clean now. Duct back on the turbo and throttle body. These steps are very easy and exactly a reverse of how we remove them. And the last piece is the filter box, all clamped down and ready to go. Alright, let's turn it on. If the turbocharger building enough pressure, the EPC warning light should turn off by itself. One last thing, check engine light is still on. It will take some time till the engine's computer calculates and turn it off, knowing that there is no problem with the engine. So I will erase the previous code with the OBD scanner now. And now the engine gained its power. Hope this video gave you an idea how to check user turbo and what causes EPC warning light to come on the dashboard. Alright, that's for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we will be changing engine oil on this 2021 Nissan Kicks and then reset the maintenance. I will be using 0W20 fully synthetic engine oil. It will need 4.3 quarts with the filter. It will be about 4 liters. We're gonna need new engine oil filter, drain pan, funnel, 65mm filter wrench, and 40mm for the oil drain bolt. And the other things, use gloves and shop towel. Alright, let's open engine oil cap, give it a quick wipe so the dirt won't fall in the engine, and then pull the dipstick out. Alright, let's get under the car. Here's the oil filter, and here's the drain bolt located. Let's throw the oil pan under the car and grab the 40mm. Now we will let the oil drain for a while. We will work on removing oil filter. For the filter socket, you're just gonna need a ratchet and extender. To avoid making mess when removing the filter, loosen up a bit and let it drain for a while, and then remove it. This way it won't splash any oil on the floor. In my opinion, it's necessary to wipe the filter area. Sometimes there will be small pieces from the old filter o-ring. The drain bolt's crusher washer is on and not damaged, so I'm just gonna clean it. I don't replace it with every oil change unless it has a crack. I don't torque oil drain bolt, but I use short ratchets so I don't over tighten it. It's not necessary to buy a torque wrench if you're just doing oil change on your car. I always spray some carb cleaner or a brake cleaner to clean any oil on the drain pan, so if it leaks oil, I will know right away. Pre-filling oil filter is not a big deal for small engines. I usually don't fill them with oil, but it's important to loop the o-ring so it opens easily for the next oil change. Alright, let's put the new filter on. You don't need to use socket and ratchet for this, just hand tightening will be enough. Our job is finished under the car. Let's pull the oil pan and put the funnel on the engine. Now we can add 4.3 quarts 0W20 fully synthetic engine oil. It will be about 4 liters. Taking the funnel with the shop towel under it to avoid spilling any oil on the engine. We are almost done here. Let's check the oil level with the dipstick. It should be at the second dot. Next, let's start the engine. It's important to check the oil filter for any oil leak. Now we can reset the maintenance. Use the arrows at the left side of the steering wheel, go all the way to the right to setting, and then scroll down to the maintenance. Oil and filter confirm reset, press yes. And here you can set a reminder for the next oil change. I will put on 5000, but you can set it more with fully synthetic oil. And here is how to change engine oil and the filter with maintenance reset on this 2021 Nissan Kicks with common hand tools. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, I will show you why your car's hood stuck and not opening when you lift the hood release. It's a common problem happening on cars. Either you used a lot or you're not using it that much, only opening the hood for oil change and windshield fluid. First thing you should be checking is the steel cable under the release handle. In my case, it's not broken and it's pulling perfectly fine. But if it's broken like this, I will put the video in YouTube card and description box below of this video how to fix it if you have broken steel cable problem. But in my case, it's not broken, and if I pull it from here, I can hear the sound in front of the car moving the latch, but it's not releasing the hood. So if you hear this sound, it's easy fix. Alright, now ask someone to hold the release handle and pull the hood just like this. First thing you should be checking are these rubbers. If they are lost or too low, they won't be able to push the hood when the release handle is engaged. We can see the rubber marks on the hood. It means they are in contact and pushing the hood. And the second scenario is the hood latch. If we look closer, it's very dry. When it's dry like this, the lock mechanism gets stuck and not working to release the hood. So we're just gonna give it a good cleaning and then grease it again. It should work perfectly fine. Now we need to remove this plastic cover. It held on with these plastic clips. By using a flat screwdriver, they come off very easily. Sometimes these plastic clips get brittle and not come off that easily. At this time, this clip removing pliers will be handy when you have a stuck plastic clip. You can also just do the cleaning without removing the cover,
but I like to remove the cover and give it a good cleaning and not letting any cleaner drip underneath. So the reason I remove the cover, so I can put a shaft towel under the hood latch to absorb any cleaner and not let it drip on the radiator. For cleaning I will be using carb cleaner or a choke cleaner, WD-40 as a penetrating fluid, brush and a grease. Let's start with WD-40. It will penetrate between the latch mechanism and loosen the dirt. I'm gonna leave it like this for a few minutes. Next, carb cleaner and a brush. It will dissolve all the dried grease and the brush will help to agitate the cleaner. After 2 easy steps and cleaners, we went from this to this. It's completely clean and dry now. Next, adding grease to keep everything move smoothly. I will be using a small brush to separate the grease. The good thing about this grease, it's heat resistant. It won't melt and drip with the engine heat. Everything is clean and greased now. Next, we will test it without closing the hood. Use a screwdriver and push the lever like this. We can do that few times to make sure everything works good. It was a good time to clean under the cover, so I give it a quick cleaning and wipe everything off and put the cover back on. Some of the plastic clips legs are broken, so I decided to replace all of them with new ones. Alright, plastic cover is solid, let's test the hood. You can test as many times as you want and next time you won't have stuck hood problem. So if the cable is not broken, this is how you're gonna fix it. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we are using CRC's intake valve and turbo cleaner to see if it can clean carbon buildup on the intake valves and piston head. I will be testing it on my 2017 Toyota Camry. Since it's direct injected, over time it will build up a lot of carbon on the piston head and intake valves. First of all, I will be removing exhaust heat shield so I can get access to the oxygen sensor before testing the product. So here are the things to check before using any carbon cleaning product on your engine: oxygen sensor, catalytic converter, spark plug, piston head, and the most important, intake valve. So after using CRC's intake valve cleaning product, we can decide where it cleaned the most. Before removing oxygen sensor, disconnect the wire harness and any clip that's holding the wire from twisting. Already loosened up the sensor, it will come out just like this. It looks clean. Whenever you have clean combustion burning, you should have clean oxygen sensor just like this, otherwise you have a problem with your engine. Let's use Endoscope camera to see how the catalytic converter looks. It looks clean, but some of the holes clogged. Let's see if CRC cleaner will clean these as well. Putting oxygen sensor back, now we have a good idea how oxygen sensor and catalytic converter looks like before using the cleaner. Next, removing spark plugs. An easy trick, use ignition coils to take the spark plugs out if your socket doesn't have that rubber to hold the spark plugs. The spark plugs looks good and they are in good condition, doesn't have that much carbon buildup on them. I used 2 Endoscope cameras to reach the intake valves to take that picture, but I'm not recommending to do that. Here are the intake valves for one of the cylinders. They have a good amount of carbon buildup. It will be a good thing for our test. And here is the cylinder 1 piston. We have a good amount of carbon on the edge of the piston. You don't have to remove all the things I did before. I'm just doing that to show you if the cleaner works or not. So for using CRC intake valve cleaner, you can spray it from throttle hose or you can spray it from this brake vacuum hose. It will go to intake valves directly. Alright, let's start the engine to reach idling temperature. I will show you both ways to spray CRC cleaner. First, I will spray it from this hose to clean the throttle body too, but never spray it from filter box. It will mess up the airflow sensor. And the second one is from this brake vacuum hose. It will go to the intake valves directly. Now the engine at the idling temperature, I will take this hose off and put the cleaner straw in and put it back, so it doesn't give me any air intake leaking code. Next, we need to raise the RPM to 2000 and then spray the cleaner. As you can see, I'm not spraying the cleaner continuously. This way it will give the engine time to breathe and not let it shut down. Alright, that's from this side. I sprayed about 30% of the can. Now let's spray it from brake vacuum hose. It will get contact with the intake valves directly. It will take some time to finish all the can with the pattern I showed before. Now you can put the brake vacuum hose back and put the clamp on. Next, we need to raise the RPM to push all the remaining cleaner out. Now it's time for the fun part. We're gonna do some hard pulls so we can be sure that all the cleaner is out of the exhaust. Alright, we are back. We're gonna give the engine some time to cool down and then do the checking to see if the cleaner worked or not. Alright, let's start with the oxygen sensor. I don't see any cleaning spots, but let's compare it with the before and after videos. I think before video is cleaner. What do you guys think? Next, the spark plugs. I think they are the same. I don't see any changes. Let's compare it with the before and after videos. I don't see any difference. Here is the catalytic converter. These holes are still clogged. Even these hard pulls didn't clean them. Let's compare it with the before and after videos. No change, it's the same. Here is the intake valves. I was hoping to see bare metal more clearly, but I don't see any big changes. But let's compare it with the before picture. And the last is the piston head. I can see some carbon buildup being removed from the piston edge, but let's compare it with before picture. Here you can see a heavy carbon buildup being removed on the edge of the piston, but still there is a good amount of carbon buildup that I was hoping to clean them all. The only reason I think it didn't work because it's safe on a turbo and throttle body and it's not harsh on the carbon buildup, but it didn't clean like it showed on the can. And that was my test on CRC intake valve and turbo cleaner on my 2017 Toyota Camry for cleaning carbon buildup. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new before buying this product. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we are strengthening my Toyota Camry's body stabilization with installing my custom Strut brace kit. So the strengthening kit includes 2 front braces reinforcing subframe with the chassis, lower back subframe brace reinforcing subframe with the chassis, mid tie rod, and front tower strut bar. So the braces comes in a package, each brace in bubble wrap and plastic so it doesn't touch each other and scratch. The braces are aluminum and powder coated. Different colors are available. I could go with blue as well, but red looks cooler when the hood is open. Here is the lower subframe strut. You will be able to lift it with one hand. All the braces made of lightweight aluminum. Additional nuts and bolts comes with the kit, and I will show you where you're gonna use them. I'm gonna start with installing front lower strut brace. Now we need to lift the car and put it on a jack stand. I'm using biggest jack stand I have. It will be easier to work under the car and film at the same time. We need to remove the cover to get access to the subframe for installing front lower strut brace. So the lower front strut braces will be mounted on these 2 bolts, strengthening between the subframe and the chassis. We just need to remove these 2 bolts, put the brace and bolt it back on. So we need to put the jack under the subframe. When we remove one bolt of the subframe, it doesn't lower that corner of the subframe and put the engine's weight stress on other corners. Subframe bolt came out rusty. I will be using WD-40 to clean the rust up, and I'm not using any Loctite for now because I may remove it if the fitment not correct, so I'm still working on it. As you can see, the installation is very easy. I just removed the bolts, put the lower strut brace on, and then torque the bolts back. So I did the same procedure for the passenger side as well and torque the bolts back. Next, lower subframe brace. It will be bolted on the subframe bolt and 2 bolts on the chassis from each side with the additional bolts and nuts that comes with the kit. You just need to remove these plugs and the square nuts goes in the chassis like this. You will get 2 nut sizes, design it on these 2 holes on the chassis. Once they are in, it won't twist when we bolt the strut bar on. This one is very easy. We just need to remove these 2 90mm subframe bolts. Put the brace on with 2 additional bolts on the chassis, but remember, the jack has to support the subframe when we remove the subframe bolts. Alright, lower subframe is done. It feels solid, just like one piece with the chassis. Next is the middle tie rod. It will be bolted on the chassis from side to side and illuminate chassis flex. You already have holes on the chassis, just remove the plugs and use additional square nuts and the bolts. We are almost done here. The middle tie rod and the subframe strut will also give a good protection if you are doing off-road. It will be the first thing to hit and not damage the side covers. The installation under the car is done. Now we're gonna put the cover back on and then lower the car. And the last installation is front tower strut bar. For this, you just undo the shock mount nuts. You don't need to jack up the car for this. You just remove the nuts and put the plate on both sides. For now, I'm not gonna tighten back the nuts. I'm just gonna keep them loose for both sides until I put the bar on. One of the important things to keep in mind when you're installing chassis strengthening kit, make sure the car at the flat level, even if it's on a jack stand. I will be posting on my Facebook page and Instagram when it will be available for purchasing with my logo. There will be multiple different colors to choose matching your car's color. The kit I'm using today will fit on Toyota Camry from 2006 to 2017 models. I will also install one on 2019 Toyota Camry and it will fit from 2018 to 2021 models. Alright, we are all done. The whole kit being installed on the car and all the bolts and nuts being torqued to the factory spec again. Now we're gonna take it outside for a test drive to see if all these chassis braces did any difference on driving. First time when you're driving your car again, you will feel something different with your car. It really makes a difference with chassis flex. Let me know what you guys think about this. Have you installed any chassis strengthener on your car before? As I mentioned before, I will be posting on my Facebook page and Instagram when it will be available for purchasing. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna test Carly's OBD scanner. You can do a complete scan on your car, checking the body and the dashboard if anything being manipulated before selling the car, in case if you're buying a used car, monitoring live data, and coding the car how you want it. The scanner comes in a simple package. I like how they took their time for designing the scanner. Doesn't feel like a cheap scanner at all. They made everything look so easy, even on the package mentioning the steps. Download the app on your smartphone, plug it in and connect to scan the car. Even the instructions looks very easy, no wasting like other brands give you a book-sized manual that most of us don't read. Alright, let's get inside the car. I'm gonna turn on the car so you can see that I don't have any warning light on the dashboard, and then we're gonna test it with Carly's OBD scanner to see if it can find anything wrong with my car. Now we know I don't have any warning light on the dashboard. Now we're gonna turn off the engine and plug in Carly's OBD scanner and connect it with my phone. Turning key to ignition position for Carly's OBD scanner to communicate with car's computer. After downloading the app on my phone, it will search for the Bluetooth to connect with the app. It will take some time. After selecting car's model, brand and year, we can press diagnosed. It will take some time to find the critical and minor issues on your car. So the health status mentioning that it's very bad. Even I checked with my CG Solid OBD scanner and it's giving me a green light for the car's health. We have a code for airbag communication error with the ECU. Even I don't have airbag warning light on my dashboard. I know this car been in an accident before. Maybe they didn't do airbag reset. I have to check that later. And other minor issues, driver side window power button, and I found out that it's been removed before. I have to check that out later as well. Something very useful for buying used car to check car's mileage. It will show real number if it's been manipulated on the dashboard and also car's VIN number. Scammers change the car's mileage to show that the car on low mileage and changing VIN number so you don't find real accident report on this car, so keep that in mind. Another useful thing with Carly's OBD scanner, you can choose multiple measuring sensor and monitor them live. You can schedule your car's maintenance here, like when to change engine oil, brake fluid and all that stuff. If Carly's OBD scanner always plugged on your car, It will give you notification on your phone when it reaches selected date or mileage. You can benefit from Carly's OBD scanner by checking your car's battery life. It will give you a countdown time for checking discharge rate on your car's battery, and when it's done, it will send you a notification to your phone, but the scanner should be on your car the whole time even when the car is off. Maybe you will say that you can check your car's battery life with a side glass. That's true, but it doesn't tell you the percentage life. Today it will be green and tomorrow the battery will be dead. And sometimes it will stuck on green even the battery is dead. At the end you can print out the detailed report with all the critical and minor issues, VIN number and mileage that we checked before. On coding tab you can change car's manufacturer parameters like how long you want the interior light to last. And here is the lane changing blinks. You want to turn it off or change it from 3 to 7 blinks. I only changed this on my car, opening and closing window without opening the door. It will be useful when you have a cover on your car. There are so many things you can change on your car, and you can reset all to the manufacturer setting whenever you want, because Carly's OBD scanner already stored a backup file for you. With all these features that this small OBD scanner can offer, in my opinion it's a good device to have, especially if you're changing your car regularly and buying used car. I will put Carly's website in the video description box below to check it out. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna be unboxing and reviewing Vivor's endoscope camera and then compare it with more expensive one, which it will be one of the Teslong's endoscope camera. It comes in a simple package, not with a bag like a Teslong, but the video quality and the picture is more important, so we will find that out very soon. You can make a stand like this, which is important. Sometimes when the screen not facing you, it will be shiny from the light reflection and it will be hard to see it clearly. On the right hand side, you have SD card port, and already comes with 32GB SD card, and beside it micro USB charging port, which they change it to Type-C soon. And the rubber door gives a nice seal to the ports from any accidental liquid splash. The camera wire looks like a snake, semi-rigid, comes in 16.45 meters, completely waterproof. It will be useful for any work, cars, walls or drains. What makes this camera special that it has triple cameras, one in the front and two at the side, and each has its own flash, and that made me to try it out and show you guys. It already comes with a micro USB charging cable and 3 attachments, magnetic and a hook. The magnetic will be useful for taking a bolt out like this, and the hook will be useful for pulling a wire or something else in a tight place. The other end of the camera cable will be connected to the device itself. You just need to release lock mechanism and it won't come out. Alright, let's turn it on. The video quality looks good but doesn't look like 1080p like it mentions. The upside arrow will only flip the screen, and you can change the 3 cameras with the downside arrow. The flashlight intensity also can be controlled with 3 different modes. Now I will be using all 3 cameras and show you why it's useful to have a triple endoscope camera, and we're gonna be comparing with Teslong's endoscope camera and see which one better quality. So I'm gonna quickly remove spark plug on this 2021 Nissan Kicks and see how much carbon buildup we have on the piston. Alright, entering the cylinder. The video quality looks very good actually. It's very bright and sharp, and I haven't done any editing to this footage. Now we can change the cameras to see the valves. Here's the exhaust valve in closed position, and here's the intake valve in open position. Now we have an idea how Vivor's endoscope camera quality looks like. Now we can try Teslong's endoscope camera. This is the quality you will get with the Teslong's endoscope camera, which I was using on my videos for a long time. But if we compare it with the Vivor, it's much brighter and we can see piston edge and the cylinder wall much clearly. And here is the picture side by side. So with the Teslong, you have a handle, harder cable, flashlight and a bag. With Vivor, better quality camera, not only 1 but 3.5 price. I will leave the link in the video description box below of the video. In my opinion, it's a good camera, and I will be using in future video for cleaning intake valves. For those of you who wanted to purchase a good endoscope camera with a good price and a quality, now you have an option. Hope you found the video useful and interesting to watch.
If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're not gonna work on Toyota Camry or any other cars. We will be working on one of the world's smallest 4-stroke engine that actually works like a real engine. And I will be showing you the parts and some assembling process and then start it up. In order to have complete engine like this, you have to assemble the engine kit, which comes in separate pieces. You can download the assembling process and it's very easy to follow. Here are some of the parts. This is the engine cover. The quality looks very good compared to the engine size. This is the fuel tank, which it will be filled with 20 to 25% of nitro fuel. This is the glow plug and it will do spark plug job. Whenever the engine uses nitro fuel and it has glow plug instead of spark plug, you don't need oil in that engine, because nitro fuel contains oil and it will constantly lubricate the engine. The engine comes with every hardware you will need to assemble the engine kit and the tools to complete this build. I will be using high temperature grease to lubricate the upper part of the engine, since nitro fuel not gonna reach that part of the engine to lubricate camshaft and rocker arms. We also gonna need some conventional oil to lubricate the seals and the pistons while assembling. I started the following process from crankshaft and lubricate every seal and bearing before putting everything back, so I don't have problem with engine startup. I recommend to wear gloves while assembling. The cylinder block is CNC machined and has some sharp edges. The precision of the parts looks very good and very precise. With some oil lubrication, I didn't have to force any part to its place. As you can see, all the parts should get in place without any force, otherwise you will damage them. Using oil with this wrench will make your job much easier and less messy. I can put few drops wherever I need, and try to use thinner oil grade so it doesn't put any resistance on moving parts. I'm using 0W20 viscosity oil, which I used for my 2017 Toyota Camry, and that is what I have in hand right now. I've seen some people using torque screwdriver to make sure every bolt has same torque, but I don't have any in hand. Hope it won't be a problem. The installation is very easy. Just pay attention to the small details so you don't damage anything, because it doesn't come with spare parts. After putting the camshaft and crankshaft timing, rotate the camshaft. You should hear suction sound and smooth rotation. Next, I'm gonna be using high temperature grease to lubricate upper part of the engine, since nitro fuel not gonna reach that part of the engine to lubricate camshaft and rocker arms. So I'm gonna put 2 drops of grease and separate it with a small brush. Next, carefully putting the gasket and lining up the holes and then the engine cover. The following part is very easy, not gonna be installed in a wrong way. It's self-explanatory. Even if it was wrong, you can take it off and put it back again in a right way. It's not gonna be like apart from the engine to disassemble everything. One of the things I like about this engine that it has its own starter, just like real engine. Most of small engines has puller handles to start up, but this one has its own starter. Alright, engine assembling almost done and it looks absolutely amazing, even just like a model. Next we're gonna put the glow plugs in and then the wires. Next I went to SketchUp and design a base for mounting the engine and the tank. After a few hours it's been 3D printed. It will make everything organized and I don't have to hold anything. I used 4 additional M4 screws to mount the engine and 2 screws for mounting the tank. Next, installing glow plug wires that looks like spark plug wires exactly, and then starter wires. Alright, we are almost done. The assembling took 2.5 hours plus moving camera and 12 hours of 3D printing the base for the engine. One last thing, installing the fuel line hose, and I will try to make it short as possible to make the engine easy to suction the fuel. Alright guys, we are outside and filling the fuel tank with the 25% of nitro fuel, and don't try to run this engine in a closed place. Connecting glow plug wires to a 12 volt battery and starter wire to a 12 volt battery as well. Let's push the starter button and see how it works. When I lower the throttle, it turned off, so let's start again and see if we can lower the RPM later. It runs much better now. I can lower the throttle, but it's on reach side and suction more fuel to the carburetor. I had to tune it later. But overall, it works really cool. I'm really impressed with the function and detail of this engine. You can find the link in the video description box below of this engine and many other small engines. Let me know if you have any other ideas want me to do with this engine for the upcoming videos. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it interesting just like I did when assembling and running this engine. I'm gonna leave you guys with starting the engine and pushing to full throttle. Enjoy the video and I will see you in the next video. Hello, it's AliMECH. Have you turned off your Toyota Camry and after a while you hear a sound in the dashboard? What is that sound? Is that normal? Should you be concerned about it? So in today's video, we're gonna find that out. It's been a requested video, even I didn't know what is that sound. So when you turn off your car, after 43 seconds you will hear a clicking sound. This is an electrical relay under the steering wheel. And then after 20 seconds, in total from beginning it will be 63 seconds and you will hear the sound. So after investigating for a while with the endoscope camera, I found out it was the ventilation door. When you turn off the car, after 63 seconds it will bring the ventilation door to this position. So if it was on any of those, it will bring it to this position. But if it was on this position, you won't hear that sound because it's already on that position. And the reason why I think it puts on that position every time you turn off the car, to let the air kind of circulate and let it open, so the air not being trapped and cause musty smell if you are living in high humidity place. And if you have a bad air conditioning smell, I recently did a video how to use AC cleaner the right way. The video link will be in the description box below and YouTube card if you wanna check it out. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna talk about direct fuel injection nozzle GDI and indirect fuel injection nozzle PFI. What are the differences between them and how to clean them. But I'm gonna call them direct fuel injections and indirect fuel injections for easy understanding. So we're gonna talk about how you differentiate by the shape of them, how they work and where they located, how they perform on the engine, and which one gives more fuel efficiency and burn less fuel for the same amount of engine power. Direct injections have a small nozzle at the tip, while indirect injections have a large nozzle with a small hole on the tip. Direct injections tend to have shorter and thicker body compared to indirect fuel injectors. Direct fuel injectors with a secondary camshaft fuel pumps are metal, and direct injectors without secondary fuel pumps are hard plastic case. Direct fuel injectors inject fuel directly into the combustion chamber, while indirect fuel injectors inject fuel into the intake manifold before entering combustion chamber, so it will be before intake valves. Direct fuel injectors operate at much higher pressure than indirect fuel injectors to ensure precise fuel delivery. Direct fuel injector system can operate at pressure ranging from 35 to 170 bars. The reason direct fuel injectors have higher pressure to overcome piston's pressure, so it will inject the fuel while air being compressed. And indirect fuel injectors typically operate at pressure between 3 to 7 bars. Direct fuel injectors allow more precise control over fuel-air mixture and combustion process, leading to improved performance and efficiency. So which one is better, direct fuel injectors or indirect fuel injectors? Both has pros and cons. Direct fuel injectors gives more precise fuel, better fuel economy, and higher engine performance than indirect fuel injectors. The problem with direct fuel injectors, intake valves always get carbon buildup from PCV oil vapor, and the direct fuel injectors no longer washing the intake valves while it happens in indirect fuel injectors. Direct fuel injectors always expensive than indirect fuel injectors if you want to replace them when they leak fuel and cleaning no longer help them. You also have secondary fuel pump with direct fuel injector engines, and you need to replace them when it can't provide the high pressure. So that's another maintenance problem. Some car companies added direct and indirect injectors on the engine to benefit from fuel efficiency, higher engine performance, and indirect injectors to wash the intake valves. Next, I will show you how to clean them. There are no difference for cleaning direct and indirect fuel injectors, except if you have leaking fuel injectors, and that is what happens in direct fuel injectors most of the time. So first of all, I'm gonna start with this direct fuel injector from Toyota Camry that doesn't have a secondary fuel pump, and you can see its plastic casing. So I'll be using fuel injector tester. This will allow you to send pulse to the fuel injector with 4 different modes. I just need to cut these wires here and connect them with the harness adapter for powering up with the tester. Because giving continuous power to open the fuel injector solenoid will overheat the injector and sometimes will burn the solenoid. So now fuel injector tester ready with the right adapter, so we don't have to worry about burning injector. Before using fuel injector adapter, we need to remove all the O-rings if you are willing to use them again, but I recommend using new one after cleaning and then taking all the filters out before cleaning. This one not only dirty and clogged, it ripped off from a side and let all the dirt get inside the injector, but the other filters are just dirty. I like to spray carb cleaner and clean the outside and the inside as well, so I don't push the dirt inside the injector when powering up the solenoid. So for using adapter, remove the nozzle on a carb cleaner can and push the adapter on, and then insert the injector and then the wire harness. Now we can connect these two to a car's battery, and I like to use mode 4, which is continuous pulse. And then holding the nozzle and pushing it down on the carb cleaner at the same time. Remember that you have to always hold the fuel injectors, otherwise it will pop out. Here is another fuel injector, and this time I will use single pulse with the tester. It will let the solenoid open for a longer time and let it clean faster than continuous pulse. One of the important points when you are done with cleaning, just power up the fuel injector without pushing the adapter on a carb cleaner can, so it will release all the pressure before removing fuel injector. Alright, we are done with cleaning. Next I will replace the filters with a new one. And also I will be replacing the O-rings as well, so we don't have any fuel leaking problem. I always recommend to put the filter basket in first and then the O-rings, so I did that for all fuel injectors. Next, oiling the O-rings and then putting them on the fuel rod. Next is a direct fuel injector with a secondary fuel pump and it's leaking fuel. Most of the time, if you leave it in ultrasonic cleaner, whether if you use seafoam or any injector cleaner, and run it at least for 10 minutes and do the same procedure with a carb cleaner as I did before, it will clean it and no longer leak fuel. And the last, indirect fuel injectors. You just need to spray it with carb cleaner with using injector adapter and no need to use ultrasonic cleaner. And that was the complete guide how to differentiate direct and indirect fuel injectors and how to clean them. Hope you guys found the video useful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, it's AliMECH. In today's video, we're gonna talk about cleaning your car's air conditioning odor and disinfecting bacteria. I will show you that you all been using air conditioning spray cleaner wrong way. Instead of cleaning, you will be damaging some electronic parts. There are so many air conditioning cleaners in the market nowadays. Basically, they are all the same. It contains solvent, acid, antimicrobial agent, and fragrance to clean and sanitize the unit, dissolve deposits, kill microgerms, and provide pleasant scent. I recommend you to use endoscope camera when using air conditioning cleaner, so you know where you're going and where you're gonna spray the cleaner, and you will see how important it is when using endoscope camera. This procedure can be done when you turn on the air conditioning and it has some odor or musty smell. It means that the condensated moisture on the evaporator collected some bacteria and it made it smell like this. So I put the hose on the cleaner nozzle and attach the endoscope camera with the hose, turn on the camera, enter the vent. You can see it's a closed end. If without the camera, you would thought that the hose reached to the bottom and touching cooling coil, and then you would spray the cleaner. That's why it's important to use endoscope camera with the cleaner. Next we will open that door and let the hose pass. Next we will put the air conditioning on max cooling. It will let the vent open and allow the air to come through the cooling coil. Now we can reach the cooling coil and spray the cleaner. After the cooling coil compartment full of cleaner, I will put the hose out. You can make the job easier for yourself, lift the center vent piece and it will give you easier access, or in some cases when the cleaner comes with a short hose, and then you can simply put it back. We can let the cleaner do its job and drain under the car. If you didn't see drain like this, your car's drain hose must be clogged, or if you didn't use the camera, there is a good chance that you didn't spray on the cooling coil. Next we will replace the air conditioning filter. When you have a bad smell and you replace the filter, but the cooling coil not being cleaned, the circulated air will bring the bacteria and make it smell bad. So with cleaning cooling coil, replace the air conditioning filter as well. By the time we replace the air conditioning filter, draining cleaner should be done by now. Now we can turn on the air conditioning and enjoy the fresh smell. No more bad odor. And that was the right way using air conditioning cleaner for disinfecting bacteria and removing odor. So each time using air conditioning cleaner, make sure to use endoscope camera with it so you know where you're spraying the cleaner. So that's it for this video. Hope the video was helpful and learned something new. If it was, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.